What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with a live hangout vid or another live hangout vid. I'm gonna keep this very short because I'm gonna be heading over to my wedding rehearsal. It's gonna take place this weekend. So with that said, I'm gonna be off this for a few days. Gotta begin the new chapter of my life. Be marrying my wife, soon to be wife. So. Um, yeah, can't wait. Getting a little nerve wracking when that day comes, which is in about 2 days. So yeah, I'll be. This will probably be my last hangout for for a few days. I mean, usually that doesn't seem like it's too long, but when it comes to the sport of boxing, that seems like a eternity. So yeah, I just wanted to get this in. I'm not going to be on it too long because I have to head to my rehearsal pretty soon. I'll get a couple guys in here, chop it up real quickly, and before I head to it. So, anyways, just wanted to jump on here and provide some news and updates, and get sprinkle a little bit of historical facts into these news and updates as well, like I always do. But anyways, let me address one thing that's been let's see. Oh, guys, hold on for a second. I got something I got to address here. Hold on for a minute. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I had to step out for a minute. I know that was longer than usual. Jesus. Yes, I'm back here. What's going on, Rock 89 1224529 as usual. Thank you so much for the blessings. Thank you so much, Rock 89. Yeah, man, I'm about to drop that fire. I'm going to talk about the Lennox Lewis and Steve Farhood controversy. Now, um, look, according, okay, I know this caused a lot of stir and and uproar what Steve Farhood had said on the Showtime. I think they gave their reasoning for dismissing Lennox Lewis title, for his run as undisputed champion. Okay, according to Steve Farhood, the reason why he said that Mike Tyson was the last undisputed champion is because Lennox Lewis never held the WBO belt. Hmm. Okay, now Steve Farhood is well respected. He's been around for a long time, for decades. Okay, all I gotta say is that he should have known better when he said that, because one, he should have known that the WBO didn't come into its inception until 1980, 89 or 88, 1988. Okay, and during that time they were not a recognized sanctioned body. Okay, and during that time, Mike Tyson was already the undisputed champion of the world when he fought Michael Spinks, okay, to capture the WBA. Well, he already had the undisputed championship before he fought Michael Spinks. Let me take that back. He then became the Lineal and Ring Magazine champion when he beat Spinks and the undisputed champion. Okay, now he should have also known that if you were a champion from the recognized sanctioned bodies like the WBC, like the IBF, and the WBA, they would have not allowed a unification bout with the WBO champion unless there are special considerations. They will allow the unification bout to go ahead, but if you were to capture the WBO title, or if the WBO champion becomes a champion from one of the recognized sanctioned bodies, they would have to drop the title. Of course, that was one of the reasons why many WBO champions were vacating their titles as quickly, quickly as possible. Like Gerald McClellan, for example, when he beat John Mugabe for that title, for the middleweight title back then, I think he made one defense or two, and then he dropped it because he was going after Julian Jackson for the WBC title. So, and there was just some exceptions there. Like for example, Prince Nassim, when he held the WBO title, he held that title religiously when he fought at super featherweight, or at featherweight. I'm sorry, at featherweight. Okay, and whenever he fought the other champions like the IBF and the WBC champions, he would capture the titles and he would immediately vacate it because he was so committed to the WBO. But nonetheless, he was still the Lineal champion or the Ring Magazine champion for featherweight for so long. So Steve Farhood making those comments like that, he should have known better. I mean, Lennox Lewis, let's not forget, as Hatman or Boxing Beats Rhymes had pointed out, is that look, Lennox Lewis did fight Henry Akawande, who was a WBO champion, but Akawande vacated that title before he fought Lewis because, as again, this has been a rule that if you're going to fight for the recognized title as a WBO champion, they would not have made that exception under certain considerations. So Akawande dropped the title because they couldn't get the exemption to fight Lewis while keeping the WBO title at the same time. I know they were willing to do that for Tommy Morrison when Morrison was penciling in to fight Lennox Lewis, before '96 or before '95, whatever it was, before he was knocked out by Michael Bent. So anyhow, for Farhood to make that comment, he probably should have realized that before Lennox Lewis became undisputed champion, there was Buster Douglas, there was Evander Holyfield. So Lennox Lewis rightfully was the undisputed champion. Yeah. So yeah, Steve Farhood is totally out of line. What's up, Akuma's Deception? Yeah, Steve Farhood. Look, I respect Steve Farhood, but I just don't understand why he made that, such as, it was just an idiotic comment. Let's be real. It was just an idiotic comment. Now, what is his motive behind him saying what he said? I don't know. I saw Hatman's video on this. He believes this is further to propagate the most anticipated heavyweight showdown between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. I'm not too sure about that. That could be possible to further, create the buzz and controversy surrounding that potential heavyweight clash. I don't know. But I will say is this, though. Maybe perhaps he never liked Lennox Lewis. That's a possibility. He probably never liked Lennox Lewis. I can tell you one thing. At the time when Lennox Lewis beat Evander Holyfield, I didn't like him after that. you know. But hey, Evander was one of my favorite fighters, man. It was just painful to see him lose a fight, to anybody. But at the end of the day, Lennox Lewis is an all-time great. He's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, and he was the last heavyweight to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Now, mind you, Lennox did beat two undisputed heavyweight champions in Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. Now that's on record, okay? Um, did he retract according to 1 2 2 5 4 5 2 9? I don't know. I don't think he did. I don't know. I don't think he did because we would have we would have picked up on that story if he did already. Let me see. Okuma's deception. By that standard, then Tyson was an undisputed champion. Well, that's true. That's true. If you're going to include the WBO, then see again, Steve Farhood should have known better that Tyson was never a WBO champion. Never was Riddick Bowe. Never was. I forgot to mention Riddick Bowe. Never was Riddick Bowe, and never was Evander Holyfield. But to be fair, though, Riddick Bowe was the only heavyweight to win all 4 titles. He was not only the undisputed champion when he beat Evander Holyfield for those 3 titles, he then became a WBO champion after that. So he's the only heavyweight in history to win all 4 major titles. So that's the one thing people don't take into account. Rock89 says that Lennox is a top 5 all-time great. You know what? As far as heavyweights is concerned, yeah. I mean, there's an argument that could be made. I mean, but then you have other heavyweights that came before him. You have you have Jack Johnson. Then you have Tommy Burns. You have other great heavyweight Joe Louis, particularly. Then you have Ezra Charles. So I mean, you can add those guys in there. Klitschko, Vladimir. You can add them in there. Then you have Tyson, Holyfield. So there's a lot of names you can mix up in the top 5. Larry Holmes, George Foreman, Muhammad Ali. I could go on and on and on. Joe Frazier. So there's a lot of guys you can mix in the top 5. You can kind of play with it. So yeah, what's up, Hop? But peanuts and crackers, man. I remember that old handle you had, bro. Yeah, it's good to hear from you too, man. Glad you're up here. Old man blunder. I hope it could be. It could be. Rock89 says I'm willing to debate on that. You know what, Rock? We should. You know what I was thinking? Maybe we should all get together and have a debate on it. Rank our top 5 heavyweights, and then we'll pick it from there. I know me and Charlie and I think Chris and EJ we were on one time. We were talking about the top 5 heavyweights, and Charlie didn't like the fact that I named some of the old guys, like maybe the Tommy Burns or Gene Foamer, not Gene Foamer, Gene Tunney, because he didn't like the fact that those guys were mobbed, were some supported by the mob. Or Jack Dempsey. You can also argue he could be in the top 5. But that's Charlie's argument, whatnot. That's his belief that anybody who's supported by the mob should not be ranked as an all-time great. I mean, I can understand his argument behind that, but I mean, the records are there. It's there. It's there. So you can't really dispute it. But that's what he wants to do. So be it. Rock89 says that he drugged Tyson and Holyfield. You talk about Lennox? Yeah. Let me see here, guys. Let me see. Hold on, guys. Let me step up. Let me just hold on for a second. Don't go anywhere. I promise I'll be really quick. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. It's just these vendors are asking me questions about my wedding. So, anyways, yeah, let's get it back to the task at hand. Akuma's Deception says that, do you think if Prime Tyson beats Lewis? You know what, Kuma? You know, we've debated about this for a while now, and I always believe that a prime Mike Tyson in the 80s would have beaten Lennox Lewis. And let me tell you why. Because if you look at Lennox when he was trained by the way he fought his old style, pre Oliver McCall, he didn't really utilize. I mean, he did utilize his jab, but wasn't really effective with it. Before he got with Emmanuel Stewart, because when he trained after the Oliver McCall knockout loss, and then he started training with Emmanuel Stewart, his style started to change. Lennox was starting to use his combination punching a lot more. He started to be more effective as an inside fighter. He was able to control his range a lot better. But if you put him up against Mike Tyson in the 80s, who was very elusive, who came forward a lot, moved his head, who barely got hit, who was very dangerous, who knew how to fight in spurts extremely well. I mean, yeah, that Tyson would have demolished Lennox Lewis. I'll be honest with you. He would have demolished Lennox Lewis and that version of Tyson. Of course, the Tyson who fought Lennox Lewis was way over the hill, but still give Lennox Lewis credit for that win. I mean, because Tyson was still the mandatory challenger. He was still a top heavyweight. So, yeah. What up, We Degree? Nah, man. Yeah, it's good to hear from you, man. Good to hear from you. Uh, Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, good stuff, man. So yeah, I mean, Steve Farhood, man. You know, look, Steve Farhood is respected. I respect the guy. You know, it's kind of ironic. He is a Hall of Famer. He's got inducted to the Hall of Fame this year, along with Winky Wright and Vitaly Klitschko and Johnny Tapia. So, I mean, but yeah, it's just that is one of those things that Steve Farhood shouldn't have made those comments. Like again, I don't know what his motive behind it. Some are going to speculate that he's further trying to cause friction between the UK fans and the US fans, as Hatman said because of the anticipated matchup between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. So yeah, okay, but yeah, but look, man, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not too sure if that's the case, but it could be the possibility that Farhood doesn't like Lennox Lewis. That's probably what it is. Hop says, I actually like Farhood scoring better than Letterman's. You know what? That's a good point. Steve Farhood seems to always be on point with his scoring. you know, Harold Letterman, for some reason, seems to show a little bit bias when it comes to his scoring. But hey, Harold Letterman, hey, all judges are at that way as well. But when it comes to neutrality, it seems like Steve Farhood seems to be more neutral than than anyone else as far as unofficial ringside scoring. He seems to be very neutral. Carl Froch and Harold Letterman, and I respect Carl Froch. I respect Harold Letterman too, but Carl Froch seems to be more of the UK version of Harold Letterman because his scorecards seem to be way off sometimes. So yeah, he could be a bit biased, but it is what it is, man. Everybody's gonna be biased in their lifetimes. Um, have you given your thoughts on Whyte and Browne? You know what? I said Dillian Whyte's going to win it, and I thought Lucas Browne, could give him problems. But given the fact that Lucas Browne has shown that he has a questionable chin, and in the reports that came out that he's got knocked out by Derek Chisora in sparring, yeah, that kind of further solidifies my point that Whyte's going to win it. But then again, hey, you can't always take it to account about sparring being being the deciding factor of a fight. Because again, guys, I like to use history as my precursor. Sugar Ray Leonard had problems in sparring when he was he's coming out of a three-year retirement going up against Marvin Hagler, and he was having problems with southpaw fighters and come forward pressure fighters. And the rumor mill, I think I read somewhere that he was injured during sparring too, and his whole his own plan of attack going into that fight. His initial plan was to stand and trade with Marvin Hagler, but knowing that he had problems with those southpaws who were pressures, who had a style that was similar to Hagler, who were southpaws who were come forward pressure fighters, he decided to change his style and say, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to stand in front and trade with Hagler because I'm giving him a chance to win this fight. So I'm going to box, get out of the way, pick my shots, get out of the way, trade with him when I have to trade him. I'm not going to trade with him throughout 12 rounds. So that's what Leonard had to do due to the fact that he had so many problems with southpaws in sparring camp. So again, So again, Brown may pull off the mild upset. Who knows? But Dillian Whyte hasn't really looked great in his last few fights after Anthony Joshua. Let's not get it twisted. He hasn't really. I mean, let's be honest. He hasn't really improved that much after Joshua. Then again, he hasn't been that bad either, but he hasn't really been very impressive. So to me, I still think he's going to win it because he seems more technical than Brown. But then again, don't be shocked if Lucas Brown somehow wins this fight or knocks him out. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Uh, oh man, these people so invested. You mean these vendors, man? Jesus Christ. Ah man, if you guys even plan on getting married and holding a ceremony, this is one of the things you have to go through. Is talking to vendors left and right. You gotta get these people, situated. The ones your guests you pay for, get their entrees together, man. It's a never ending story, man. I'm glad this is the only this is gonna be the only thing I'm gonna deal with as far as once I'm married my wife. That's it. She's gonna be the one I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with, and I really mean that. But anyway, Weeds Degree says here, what do you think? What's next for Whyte if he wins, Dan? Um, Eddie Hearn. I did see the Seconds Out interview. Eddie Hearn did say that the winner between Whyte and Brown would be the mandatory challenger to Deontay Wilder's title. I'm not too sure about that. Now, theoretically, Dillian Whyte is rated number one. All right. So from a from a technical standpoint, he should be named as a mandatory. But then again, the WBC did not order that fight. They did not, and they also did not order the winner of this fight to become the mandatory challenger. So that's the gray area there. Number one, and number two, um, Dominic Brazil had came out recently and said that he is the mandatory. So there's something that's going on there that there's something we don't know that what's going on behind closed doors was regarding to that, because why would Brazil come out and say that he's the mandatory challenger? Because he probably knows that the rankings is going to be fixed to where he becomes a mandatory challenger to Deontay Wilder's title. So no, and don't get me wrong, I actually have no problem with Brazil being the mandatory because he's fought for that position. He's had some decent wins after his loss to Anthony Joshua, so he'll definitely give Deontay Wilder, make him work hard. But Brazil is not really, he just doesn't really have. I don't know. He just doesn't really have the pedigree to beat Deontay Wilder. He could give him a tough fight. He could be tough. He's crude. He could come back, but Deontay Wilder is a different animal when it comes to the guys like compared to the guys like Amir Mansour, Ishu Gano, and of course Eric Molina is the same guy that Wilder and Joshua beat. I find it funny that some of the people who are giving Joshua credit for that win against Eric Molina failed to realize that Deontay Wilder beat that guy first, and Deontay Wilder got ridiculed for taking on Eric Molina in a voluntary defense, which is kind of also ironic because Anthony Joshua's first defense of the IBF title was against Eric Molina. Huh? How come no ridicule for that? I just wanted to point that out. Just wanted to point that out. But it is what it is. But let's put it this way: they both deserve credit for that win against Molina. Okay, because Molina had came back before he fought Joshua and knocked out Thomas Adamek. He battled and battled back and beat him. So yeah. So it's a decent win. I'm not saying it's a great win, but it's a decent win for both fighters. Weed Degree says that Wilder will crack Brazil. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Brazil is like, no disrespect to Donald Brazil. The dude's a human punching bag, and his style of fighting that was really his style of fighting is going to really suppress his health as a fighter. In the later years if he keeps this up. So let's be honest. So let's see here, guys. Damn these vendors. Let's see. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. 80. Let's see. All right, guys. Sorry about that. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm a little distracted with these vendors here. Messaging me. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Io, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, Hop, man. I really appreciate it, man. Mr. Boston today. What is going on, brother? What's going on? Hey, man, you got to get on here, man. Just me and you. We got to talk. We got to chop it up about this heavyweight stuff, man. I'm not gonna really bring anybody else in today. I might bring a couple guys, but if you want to get in on this, let me know, man. We gotta chop it up about the heavyweight stuff. So, yeah, because again, I still see White winning the fight, but Brown may have a chance. So we'll see. What's going on, Dwayne Jones? What's going on, man? I'm just chilling. I'm just sitting over here talking, chopping it up while I'm dealing with these wedding vendors too, because I'm getting married this Saturday. So yeah. Let me see. Fat Apples is in here too. All right, what's going on, Fat Apples? Let's see. Black Latin Seas, what's going on, man? Uh, Black Apple says you Black Latin Seas that Wilder would have caught Klitschko sooner or later. You know what? Let's say something about this. There is guys, I'm gonna play it fair. When Deontay Wilder won the WBC title in a vacant against Bermane Severn, um, Shelly Finkel had came out and dismissed the idea of Klitschko and Wilder unifying because he said that, look, Wilder's not ready for a Klitschko unification right now. And that's what he said. That can't be disputed. So you could take that as a duck from Deontay Wilder's team. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Okay. But to me, though, if Wilder would have fought him at that time, I think Wilder would have had a chance of beating him. I really think he would have. But then again, it seemed they felt he wasn't ready for that fight at that time. It's still a duck on their part, So it is what it is. Let me see. Thanks, brother. Thanks, Mr. Boxer, today, man. Really means a lot. We gotta chop it up about the married life, man. See how you dealing with it. Dog 215, what's going on, man? It was Rappers Delight 2-0 for you. Ah, man, the Sugar Hill game, Rappers Delight, man. I remember that back in the day. Well, I wasn't born in 1979, but I listened to a lot of old stuff, man. The 80s and 90s were my era, because I was born in the early 80s. Uh, okay. All right. So, anyways, yeah. Klitschko left hook would have decapitated Wilder. I mean, he has no answers for his hook. Well, you know what, Kumas? That's Klitschko definitely would have had a great chance of beating Deontay Wilder. But let's put this in a proper perspective. This is a Klitschko who came off a long layoff, almost 2 years, and he was coming off a loss against Tyson Fury. He went in there against Anthony Joshua, right? Anthony Joshua had to fight tooth and nail, right, against a guy like that, and we can all agree that that was the best performance that Vladimir Klitschko has ever shown in his career. Okay, best performance he's ever shown, even though in a losing effort, right? And look, Anthony Joshua had to battle through adversity to beat Vladimir Klitschko, and Deontay Wilder equally had to do the same thing against Luis Ortiz. So, to me, I think that Klitschko would have hurt Deontay Wilder the same way he would have hurt Anthony Joshua, and Wilder would have found a way to come back and beat him. I think he would have. It would have been a very close, a tough fight, just like Joshua had to go through. So yeah, and mind you, Joshua had no answers for Klitschko straight rights, and there was a couple times he caught AJ with those left hooks too. So yeah, we can play this in an honest perspective, man. That is true. Klitschko has definitely had trouble fighting guys taller than him. Look at Tyson Fury, who had longer length, especially a guy who's very, very awkward. And Anthony Joshua is not really an awkward fighter, so that's why Klitschko was able to time him a lot better than, yeah, than Tyson Fury. So that's the honest fact there. So Io basically said realistically, I think both sides know that AJ Miller and Wilder Brazil White is next. Yeah, yeah, we all know that Io. Both these fighters, Joshua and Wilder, are going to be taking interim fights in between. So, and no disrespect to the other guys who make countless videos about AJ and Deontay. Let's be realistic. That fight's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen this year. It's going to happen next year. I know this whole scheme is to put pressure on both fighters to get this done. But I think realistically, they both are working on things to finalize it, and I think they're going to make it happen. But it's going to happen next year, and it's not going to happen this year. Both of them are going to be taking inner fights in between. And to me, I'm cool with that because Wilder does need to get some more names on his resume. Yes, unification does supersede mandatory, but I really think they've already drafted a interim agreement behind closed doors that they will be taking internet fights between each other, and then next year they will meet, just like Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev did. The only difference is that was announced publicly. That was not done behind closed door. Rock 89 says so. Dude that got knocked out by Lamont, Lamont Brewster and Ross Purity stands up against Wilder's power. Hey, you know what? Corey Sanders knocked him out too. That was a horrible knockout. Oof. So that's a good point, Rock. That's a very good point there. Dwayne Jones says, I think Wilder Joshua's waiting is better. Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's better to propagate the fight, and I think it helps strengthens their resumes. Even though AJ's resume is better than Wilder's at this point, but Deontay, if he could get Dominic Brazil, and he could get Alexander Povetkin, I'd see that fight happening down the road. If he could get Dominic Brazil and Alexander Povetkin, or Dillian Whyte, or maybe Lucas Brown, if he gets either of those names on his resume before the Joshua fight, that would make things a lot better for both fighters. A lot better, particularly for Deontay Wilder, who's been ridiculed for the most part of his career, and he'll beat Luis Ortiz, and they have some somewhat decent wins over guys like Bermay Savern, Arthur Spilka, Eric Molina, Gerald Washington. So those are even though people ridicule Wilder for those wins, those are still decent wins if you look at if you compare and contrast the other crop of heavyweights. Now, today, if you ask me who has the best resume of all the heavyweights, it's not Anthony Joshua. No, no, no. It's Alexander Povetkin. Alexander Povetkin has a damn good resume, man. He's beat a lot of names. The only guy he didn't beat was Vladimir Klitschko, the guy who maliciously fouled him throughout the fight through victory, which is probably, I would say, my opinion, the worst performance that Vladimir Klitschko has ever showed as a heavyweight champion, other than the Abragimov fight, the Sultan Abragimov fight. So yeah, Povetkin definitely has the best resume in the heavyweight division right now. And second comes Joshua, and then third, maybe Wilder's third, and Joseph Parker maybe fourth. So there's a toss up between Parker and Wilder as far as the resume comparison in the heavyweight rankings. So yeah, I'll see if anybody agrees with me on that. And then, or you got Fury in there too. You could throw him in there in the mix too. Probably the top five, top three. Who knows, top four. So let's see. Dan, what do you think Wilder and Joshua waiting Wilder builds his resume? Joshua builds his experience win-win situation. Yep, excellent point. Excellent point. You know what? I think you're the first one, Dwayne, to actually bring up a good point. Wilder's waiting to build up his resume a bit more. Joshua is waiting to build up his experience a bit more. Yes, he's got the better wins, but at the same time, he needs to probably build up some experience because, mind you, he's already won his world title, his 15 pro fight, and his amateur career wasn't that long either, just like Wilder's. So perhaps he is building up some more experience before he gets into a Wilder fight. Who knows? That's a possibility. But then again, some can argue, Dwayne, that hey, as a champion, pretty much it's you're as a champion that kind of goes out the window. You have to defend your title against all comers. Yeah, let me get Mr. Boxer today a link. Give me 1 second. There you go, Mr. Boxer today, man. Hop on, bro. Let me see. Akuma's deception. I agree, Dan. Povetkin has the better resume. Yep, absolutely. MOBC taking over Ross Clyde, my own boxing community. That's what's up, man. You can do what you want to do, bro. It's all good. You cool with me. Let me see. Fat Apples. I agree that a Prime Fury beats all the current heavyweights, in my opinion. But I don't think he's going to have the same legs anymore. He might have lost some of that speed and reflexes as well. You know what, Kuma? That's a good point. I think Tyson Fury probably would have beaten all of them in his prime. But the problem is that after 3 years, almost 3 years of not fighting, and he's abused his body, and he hasn't really been in the best shape. He's really lost a lot of his, his reflexes are going to be gone. His speed is going to be diminished, even though he's dropping the weight. But he's definitely not going to be the same fighter. So, yeah, I just don't see. To be honest with you, he could prove us all wrong, but I just don't see Tyson Fury being nearly as competitive like he was after he won that title against Vladimir Klitschko. I really don't see it. Fat Apple says that, but Wilder doesn't have the defense to compete with these fighters. Hey, neither does Joshua Fat Apples. Let's not get it twisted. Joshua does defense is not that great either. But at the end of the day, it's about what gets you through fights. That's all it is. You don't have to have the best defense. You don't have to have the best offense, or the best skill, I should say, the best technical skill. It's what matters is what gets you through fights. Plain and simple. Hop says that, man, I hope all you guys are wrong saying Joshua Wilder this year. I'm about to cry in the corner. Hey, man, I hope I'm wrong too, but from the looks of it, it doesn't look like it's going to happen this year, realistically. But I've been proven wrong before, but we'll see. Wilder versus Povetkin needs to happen. You know what, Dig Justice? I definitely agree, and I said that. I think Povetkin will be the next fight after Wilder gets past Brazil. Even though Povetkin will, if Povetkin still maintains his mandatory status as Joshua's mandatory, that could change. But if Povetkin loses, he still could go the other route and get a WBC shot, but may not be as a mandatory. But Wilder may go ahead and give him a shot as a voluntary after he gets past Brazil, who's Brazil is going to be named the next mandatory according to what Donovan Brazil is saying. Hop says that if Mr. Boston today comes on and says that Wilder Joshua definitely not happening this year, I'll leave the chat and break down. Nah, don't do that, brother. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Everything be all right, man. The fight's going to happen one way or the other. It will. Let's see. Weed Degree said, who was that? Who was Ray Pork fighting on White card on Saturday? I don't know who's fighting on the wild on the white and the brown card. I have to go check. Who's on the undercard? One thing people are underrating about Wilder is his speed, the skills. He's got quick hands. Uh, yeah, need Lucas win so White's out of the picture. Dog 215. Yeah, I don't. If Lucas wins, so be it. If Dillian wins it, so be it as well. I just think Wilder's going to beat both of them. He'll beat both of them, no question about it. In my opinion, I mean, don't say that. I'm not saying that it'll be easy work, but it'll definitely be a tough fight for Deontay, and Deontay will beat both of those guys. So let me see, Mr. Boxer today's come on here. We'll just wait for him to get on this chat. So, yeah. But while he gets on, let's talk about some other news real quickly. Yeah, Wayne Joe said Dillian got hurt, but very chinny. Yeah, Dillian White has been hurt a few times. He's been rocked. He hasn't reacted very well when he's got hit flushly against several guys. So he may have a questionable chin, but then again, he hasn't really gone down to light touch shots. Shots that's not supposed to put you down, like jabs or something like that. So we'll see. Pop says the public is just the yo-yo of the political machine that doesn't really care about or respect us. Tired of being a pawn. I hear you, man. It's we're in an environment where fans are only going to pay attention to the fights that we want to see. Of course, we want to see Wilder versus Joshua. Of course, we want to see that fight. Now, my thing is that if you're gonna make that fight, if it's not gonna happen immediately, why not do an interim fight? both sides get together, agree to enter fights, and then meet on a later date. Andre Ward with Sergey Kovalev did that, and no one had no problem with that. Why? Because we all knew then that fight was going to be made. We knew it was going to happen when they made that announcement, so no one had a problem with that. As far as Joshua Wilder, it seems like some people have a problem with that. I guess maybe more so because it hasn't been announced publicly, but from the looks of it, that's where they're going. This is where they're going with it. So, we just gotta, we just gotta take it for what it is, guys. It's gonna happen. We just gotta, we just gotta be patient. Let me see. There's some guys in the chat here. Hold on, in the private chat. What's Ben doing? Hold on. Is somebody in here?
That's me, man.
Oh, that's you. You got it. Oh, what's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
Not much. That's not big dog. I got Mr. Boxer today. He gonna be coming in here in a second. So
cool.
Yeah. So we just I was just talking about the Steve Farhood controversy with Lennox Lewis. I know that's your favorite fighter, but I want you to get your thoughts on that one. He said that Lennox was never undisputed champion because he never won the WBO title. Why do you think he made that comment?
I didn't hear the comment, but I've heard people talking about it. And I heard EJ last night. EJ kind of debunked it. He said it wasn't Steve Farhood, it was Mauro Ranallo.
Oh.
And if it was Mauro Ranallo who said it, then I don't take that seriously at all. I don't take it seriously either way. But I'm saying Mauro Ranallo, he's the WWE announcer originally.
Yeah, he is.
like he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So I wouldn't even hold. Anything he says doesn't hold much weight. Only reason he's there is to just be that crash bang guy. Like remember the brother that does the NCAA basketball or used to do.
Yeah,
that's what he's there for, man. He's there for entertainment. I don't take him seriously.
Yeah,
Steve Farhood said that would be extremely disrespectful because he's supposed to know the sport of boxing.
Yeah, you know what is a surprise about that? He's going to be in the Hall of Fame this year, along with Wiki Wright and Vitali. He's getting in this year, and he's been around for a long time, and he should know better. He's written for KO Magazine. He's done some work for them over the years. He's been around the block, man. He's very very impartial. He's very fair. He doesn't show bias towards anyone. And for him to say that it makes me wonder: is he? Because I listened to Hatman's video on this. I'm not sure if you agree with Hatman, but Hatman believes that Safarho has said this because he believes that Safarho is just trying to further promote the divide or the anticipation of Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. In other words, the UK versus the US rivalry when it comes to the heavyweights, between these two heavyweights. I don't know if I see it that way. I just think maybe Steve Farhood doesn't like Lennox Lewis. That's probably a possibility because he beat Mike Tyson, who Steve Farhood admired over the years. Well, I mean, what do you think?
Well, I'm pretty sure Steve Farhood. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he's from New York.
Yeah.
So it could be something going on, underlying situation going on there.
Okay.
But Lennox Lewis should not be attacked in any way for his that is the greatest heavyweight of all time, in my opinion. So I'm not going to take any of that bullshit, bro. Just because the WBO title wasn't recognized until what, mid 2000s?
Yeah, 2007.
A legitimate belt. It was not recognized. So how do you claim it after the fact? You know what I mean? After the fact that you needed that to be undisputed. That's bullshit, bro.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think we just got. I take it as a grain of salt. But like I said, some people like have been saying this is just to further promote Joshua and Wilder. I don't see it that way. I just think that he just doesn't like Lennox Lewis. That could be the possibility.
I think that's a personal thing. I don't think anybody really gives a fuck about what people are arguing about on YouTube to the point. They're talking about millions of dollars. They're not worried about the fucking couple bucks people make off YouTube ad revenue. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. I don't think it has nothing to do with that. That's something I have to disagree with Admin about. But hey, Barack, I want to get your thoughts on this, man. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, Dan?
Not much, player. I know we talked about this in the comment section earlier. What do you think about Steve Harvey's comments?
I mean, that's complete BS. Like, you can go and watch all the Lennox fights, after he won the Undisputed Championship, and you know, just when Michael Buffer say undisputed at the beginning of the fight, that's what you are. That's it, and that's all.
Well, yeah, it's like, yeah, of course, when him and Lennox Bender Holyfield fought for the undisputed title, of course, he announced it. The new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world is Lennox Lewis.
Right, and that was after. Yeah, I know Holyfield, your dude, but
Yeah, I
Lennox
know,
is
man.
my guy.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sorry.
Lennox
And
beat that ass twice.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was
Man, y'all
about
gonna
to say.
have to do that to me,
Hey,
bro.
they robbed Lennox in that first fight something serious.
Well, I would admit they did rob him in the first fight, but the second fight was kind of closer than in first, obviously. But I would admit though, Lennox won that second fight. I mean, Evander was getting in his ass in the mid rounds, man. He was getting into him. He was keeping it close, not trying to not give him no punching room. But Lennox is too crafty, man. Thanks to the tutelage of Emmanuel Stewart, he found a way to keep his range against Evander and pick his shots off and then decision him. So I mean, I like I told y'all, man. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, man. I hated Lennox after that fight. I was like, man, you beat my guy, man. Fuck you, Lennox Lewis. I was so mad. But over the years, I kind of respect the fact that he did fight Holyfield. He gave him a good fight. Both men were great in their, great. They're Hall of Famers, great heavyweights. So I can't take anything away from Lennox. Lennox fought everyone. I mean, there were some guys he did fight. That happens all the time, but for the most part, he did fight the best he could fight throughout his career. He did do that. So, but like I said, man, Farhood I think this is a personal issue there. He just doesn't like Lennox. That's probably what it is, in my opinion, man. But anyways, Lucas Browne. I know we were talking about this earlier. Lucas Browne and Dillian Whyte. Now the rumor mill is going around that Lucas Browne got knocked out in sparring by Derek Chisora. Do you think Dillian Whyte's going to knock him out based off that story?
No.
No.
This was a complete trash fight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas is not that technically good, but he can find a way to win fights. He'll find a way. So
that's true. And Dillian, he gonna be there to get hit. It's gonna be an exciting fight, but I mean, what do you expect these guys to do as far as trying to fight the top 3 or 4?
Right. Man, yeah, what'd you expect, man? I mean, look, I mean, that's like the only headline fight going into the weekend because everybody's asking what other fights are happening. Like, well, there's some other fights, but they're kind of like low key fights. They're not like, what should I put it? Like, there's another one called the Kyra Marat and Travis Reeves' fight. Nobody cares about that one. I mean, Kyra Marat fought Bernard Hopkins. That's only the guy we know for. He's known.
That's what I was about to say. Ain't that the dude that lost to Hopkins? I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's not really else going on Saturday except for what the hell's going on here? Sorry, y'all. I declined. Oh, that's Mr. Boxer today. Hold on, man. Hold on. Yo, hey, yeah, I gotta get you on the other hangout. Hold on, man. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna add you. Yeah, I gotta add him on the other hangout. Give me a second. Shoot. Yeah. You know what? Let me send him an email. Hold on. Let me send him an email. Shit.
By the way, Dan.
Yeah, Mr. Boxer today is trying to get in, man, because he just called me. Let me try to see if I can get him a link on it to this hangout here because I did because I thought I did set the settings where people could join the hangout via link in the chat, but he can't get in for some reason. So let me just send him an email so I can get him on this one.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Dan, I pretty much agree with everything you say. Maybe because Lennox is so close and near and dear to my heart. I'm sorry, I can't name maybe 3 or 4 heavyweights that's better than it.
Well, what about Larry Holmes? What about Tyson? What about Foreman? What about Ali? There's 4 right there.
I don't know if I could put Foreman ahead of Lennox.
Okay, that's arguable. That you could argue that fact. What about Ali?
I mean, it's Muhammad Ali. Like he honestly, when it comes to heavyweights, he honestly is in a class of his own.
Yeah. All right, cool, fair enough. What about Tyson? Even though he beat Tyson. So you say that kind of cancels out?
I mean, hey, head to head got me something. And,
Oh,
and I understand that Tyson was washed up and shot, but Lennox was older than Tyson.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But you know what? I mean, look. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Here's the way I look at it. Uh, I don't know. Just because you beat somebody, I mean, some people will say, well, just because you beat somebody doesn't mean you're greater than the other guy because the other guy did more work than you. So, I mean, that's an argument that could be made. But then again, you know, let's see. Look, who did Tyson fight in his prime during his dominance, and who did Lennox fight in his promise? He fought Otis Holyfield. He fought Mike Tyson. All right, those guys were over the, you know, were past their best. We could argue that case, right? But still, they're very good wins. We can't take that away from Lewis. Tyson,
there were some other people, you know,
yeah,
that I was gonna give it to Lennox. You got Shannon Briggs.
yeah,
At that point in time, I mean, he's worthless now, but Michael Grant was looked at as a dangerous contender. David Tua. So
yeah.
he got some names. You know, they may not be Hall of Famers, but I mean, hell, you're a historian, so you know you got
I
those
don't.
those solid fighters that a lot of casuals or maybe just people that don't dig through history don't know about just because they're not Hall of Famers.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But you know, I'm not. I don't claim to be a historian, man. I like to study the sport, man. I'm a learner. Let's put it that way.
You're a bad dude when it comes to your boxing, man.
Yeah, you know what to think about it, brother. I'm still learning, man. There's much about the sport that I still don't know, and I'm still learning, man. You know.
No, I understand. That's why you don't know that Lennox is a top 3 all time heavyweight.
Oh man, come on. I'll put him in the. You know, I could put him in the top 10. I could see him in the top 10. Top 5, like I said, you could you could shovel that around. You know what I mean? Because you know, like I said, you got Holmes, you got Foreman, you got Ali, you got Tyson, you got Klitschko, you got Ezra Charles, you got Joe Lewis, Tommy Burns, Jack Johnson.
Come
Jack
on, you know he better than Klitschko though.
yeah, I got Lennox over Klitschko. I got Lennox over here. I know people are gonna argue. Well. Vladimir fought. You know, he was 10 years
Tommy
dominance.
Burns.
Come on, man. He was a great heavyweight.
Come on, man. You reaching now, bro. You reaching. I'm listening to you. I was being quiet because I was doing something, but I had to fucking hop back on and stuff.
Why not? What's wrong with Tommy Burns? How come Tommy Burns is not a great heavyweight, man? How come?
You want me to keep that to myself, man. You just want me to keep that to myself.
I know why. I know you why. I ain't gonna say that. No, I ain't gonna speak on that. I know why.
But Mike Tyson had a. Yeah, my bad. Hold on. My bad. And Mike Tyson is a great fighter. Don't get me wrong, but he had like a good 3-year run, bro.
Yeah.
And I contend that any version of Lennox Lewis would have beat the shit out of Mike Tyson, bro.
I doubt that.
I mean, no. Let me repeat that. Any that Lennox Lewis that beat Mike Tyson, any version of Mike Tyson would have got his ass whipped by that version of Lennox Lewis.
You sure?
I agree with you on that one.
I don't know about that one.
I'm 100% sure. He got his head pounded in.
I don't know because if you look at the Tyson
that was after fucking Emmanuel Stewart took him from that dude that was training him and really taught him how to control range, bro.
Well, that's my point. So there, I was going to get to that.
And another thing, every man that Lennox Lewis ever fought, he's beaten.
Yeah, that's true.
In the story.
That's true. He's beating every man.
Mike.
That's true. I'll give you that. But I was going to say though. Yeah, I was going to say that though. But here's the thing though. If it was a pre-version Lennox Lewis before Emmanuel Stewart, yeah, Tyson would have demolished that guy. It was an Emmanuel Stewart version of Mike Tyson, then maybe he would have beaten him in his prime. Maybe. You know what I mean? Because like I mentioned earlier, Emmanuel Stewart taught him how to use his range a lot better, use his jab, to learn to use angles when he punch selection and all that made him better as an inside fighter. So yeah, he taught Lewis to be better, to be more stable as a heavyweight. He learned to what's the word I'm looking for? To stabilize his skills. You know what I mean?
That Hasim Rahman loss, he lost fair and square. I'm not taking that from Hasim Rahman. He got knocked the fuck out. But he was fucking around in there. He was really fucking around in that ring. He was fucking around before that fight film in Ocean's 11. He was doing a lot of stupid shit. And when he focused, he fucking beat the brakes off Hasim Rahman.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was more focused and he was more disciplined in that fight, in the second fight going in. He knew that, he he make no excuses for that. But I will say though, as far as the Tyson situation though, let's get back to that one. Maybe you may be onto something about that because when Tyson came out of prison, right, he captured the unified titles. I'm sure Mr. Boston today is in the chat. Yeah, what's up, man? He knows what's going on here about this. So Tyson, when he became the champion, right, he was supposed to fight Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis was the mandatory challenger to the WBC title. Lennox was not allowed. It was not going to allow him to fight Bruce Seldon for the unified title. So he took Tyson and Don King to court for that, right? So they paid a step aside fee for Lennox, like over millions and millions of dollars to step aside from what I heard. Okay, so they promised Lennox that once we get through our unification bout, we would give you a shot, right? So when he got past Seldon, what did Tyson do? He vacated his belt just like that. And I remember back then, man, you know, we didn't really have social media, but American Online, we had the chat rooms. The chat rooms were lit up. They were lit up against Tyson for what he did, man. They called him a coward. Everybody came after Tyson for that, man. It's like, what the fuck, dude? And they called him a cherry pick because he chose to fight Holyfield instead of Tyson, instead of Lewis. They're like, oh, you gonna beat a shot fighter? You gonna fight a shot fighter? That's what you trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So you might be onto something there because probably Tyson, his camp, knew that, you know what, that style would be all wrong for Mike Tyson. He fought Lewis right at that time. Maybe, like I said, probably at that time, that 96 version of Lennox Lewis would have beat Mike Tyson, but not the 80s version. I don't know. I don't see that happening. So, but anyways, Mr. Boston today, what's going on, brother?
What it do, man? What it do, y'all?
Not much, man. We're chopping it up. We're having some good heavyweight discussion, man, because I think the heavyweights is probably the mainstream division right now, opposed to everybody else. What do you think?
Oh, you already know what I think about it. But let me just chime in on that Holyfield and Tyson and Lewis. I don't know if you guys read his book, but Evander has a book called Becoming Holyfield. Yeah. And in that book, according to Evander, this is according to him, so take it for what it's worth. He says that Mike and his team turned down like 40-something million. This is in 96, like $45 million to fight Lennox. They turned that down. They didn't want nothing to do with Lennox. And then they picked Holyfield because they thought it was a name and they thought it was a easier opponent for him. And we seen how that turned out. Holyfield didn't look good against Bobby Ches. Yeah. He had the conditions with Bo. So they probably was like, hey, man, let's do easy pickings right now. And we seen how that turned out for him.
Right. You know what, though? The thing about the Holyfield and Ches fight, Holyfield actually looked good, but the reason why he got ridiculed because he didn't knock out a blown up light heavyweight. That's why he got ridiculed for that. So that's why they kind of did. They kind of. Okay. All right, babe. Sorry, I'm talking to my wife, y'all. But because what Evander got ridiculed for was that he didn't knock out a blown up light heavyweight. So that's why people were saying, yeah, your performance was pretty bad because you could knock him out, even though you were overwhelming favorite to win that fight. So, and to your point, though, they thought that Holyfield was already shot. He was damaged goods. He was a name. It'd be a lot easier. It's a big money fight. Easier fight than fighting Lennox Lewis. Easier fight. So, yeah, of course, that backfired. We all saw what happened. Holyfield kind of changed the dynamics of that whole situation. So, good on him. But yeah, man. What do you think about the C. Farhood comments, man? What do you think about that? Do you think he did that just to, further create this UK-US rivalry between Wilder and Joshua, or do you think it's a personal vendetta that he has with Lennox Lewis?
I don't, I'm not really sure of his history with Lennox. I don't know if Lennox slided him on an interview back in the day. I'm not sure. But for Steve, I did a video about this earlier today too, man. To me, it's almost embarrassing because Steve Farhood knows a lot, man, about boxing. This dude's a historian. Even Al Bernstein, not just Farhood, but just their whole telecast, man. Because I believe it was the Wilder Ortiz fight when what's the dude's name? Royal Morota, whatever the fuck it is. He was the first one that said it. He was the first one that said it. That Mike was the last undisputed champion. I'm looking around like, does he not remember Lennox? And then I'm thinking like, not even just Lennox, but what about Buster Douglas and Holyfield and Riddick Bowe? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm thinking myself, all right, maybe it was just a mistake. So then when I seen this come out the other day where Showtime is on Twitter and they're defending what they said. And it's like, man, how can people that have all these smart people working for them not know that they're in the wrong? It's just kind of mind-boggling. So I'm not sure, man. Maybe Farhood, they got something against Lennox from back in the day, but for them not to understand the criteria to be undisputed since 2007 till now with the 4-belt era, It's just crazy to me, man.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I think it has more so due to a personal vendetta, man. And Forrest should know better. I mean, given the fact he's respected, he's been around all these years, he's going to the Hall of Fame as a contributor. Let's not forget that. And I respect Steve Farhood. He seems to be very impartial. He doesn't really play favorites, but in this situation, he might be playing a favor here because maybe he doesn't like Lennox Lewis to the point that he beat his guy Mike Tyson. Who knows? It could be that possibility, or maybe Lennox Lewis disrespected him in the past because I couldn't find any history between Farhood and Lewis. Because I was looking for that before I, made this came on here and made this on this podcast, this hangout. So I don't know, man. It was just irresponsible for Farhood. He should have known better, man. I mean, he should have known better to make that comment. That was just inexcusable. But yeah, man. But anyways, what do you got? What are your thoughts about Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder taking interim fights in between, man? Do you agree with my assessment on that? You
Yeah,
think
Dan, I just wikied it to double check it. Yeah, he was born in Brooklyn, man. Maybe that's behind it.
Oh, okay. That's why. That's why. See, there you go. Yeah, he probably doesn't like the fact that he beat Mike Tyson. That's probably why he dismissed Lennox Lewis. So, but yeah, man, irresponsible. He's gonna have to come out and apologize for those comments, man, because he's getting lit up right now by social media for that. So it is what it is. But what do you think? You do agree with my assessment about I know we keep talking about this. It's starting to become very tiresome. The Joshua Wilder thing. Do you think they're going to be taking interim fights in between, and they kind of agree to the fight behind closed doors, and then they'll fight next year?
Man, it's hard to know what these dudes are going to do. Now, if you're asking me as far as like style matchups, I would like to see Wilder fight Dillian Whyte or Dominic Breazeale. Based on style matchup, I think they're intriguing fights, but just not right now. I just want to see this undisputed thing get cleared up.
Right.
It seems as if Hearn, the way they're talking, him and AJ, they have so many options. If he wins, even if he loses, he's still gonna have options. This dude gonna be popular until he's done. You know how the UK fans do their popular fighters, is kind of the same way they did Bruno. This dude will lose, get knocked out. You know what I mean? Witherspoon whooped him up, and they were still his fans. You know what I mean? Until he beat Tucker. He beat Tucker for the title, right? He beat Tucker for a title. All right, so
yeah,
but
he did.
As far as as far as when this fight gonna take place, I'm not sure, man. Joshua is so philosophical with the way he speaks. Half the time, I don't know what the fuck he's even talking about. The promoter on this shoulder says this, and the fighter says this. It can be this year, or maybe the year after that, or the year. It's like, dude, left or right, up or down. Like, what is all this other shit you talking about? He takes you through a jungle gym when he's, you know what I mean, when he's talking sometimes.
Yeah.
With Eddie Hearn and them, man, it's hard to say. I don't know. Then I heard Hearn, you guys followed it, man. A few months ago, Hearn said he wants to fight Wilder next, and then after that, Whyte and whoever else. Then the next week he changes it up, and then now they're talking about freezing them out, and they don't want him to jump in the ring. It's just shit that I don't want to hear personally, man. But to tell you the truth, Dan, I don't know what they're going to do, because one week is one thing, then the next week it's another thing.
Yeah, I know, man. It's very conflicting what's going on here. But at the end of the day, I think what they're trying to do is that they're trying to gain a psychological advantage over Deontay. That's what they're trying to do, because Deontay, that's what he's doing with them. He's trying to gain a psychological edge over them, because this sport is not always about brute. It's not always about strength. It's about mental strength as well. So whoever wins the mental games usually will become the victors of the actual fight to some occasions. But it is something seems confusing what's going on here. But at the same time, what's up?
Dan, but like what's confusing to me, or what is kind of sticks out to me, is he starts these mental games with Wilder. There was no mental game for Molina. There was no mental game for Breazeale or any of that. But when it comes to Wilder, then it's all these long just drawn out responses and, like you said, mental games. So to me, this shit might work backwards. You know what I mean? It might come out to hurt him in the long run, but I guess we'll see though.
Yeah. There's one thing though. I did talk to Beats and EJ yesterday about this, because now they're talking about rematching with Dillian Whyte, and I asked him about that. I was like, "Are you guys in favor of that?" And Boxer Beats he admitted, he's like, "Hell no, I'm not in favor of that. If they take that fight, that's a cherry pick." And he was like, "I am not going to be happy about that, and I will go after Joshua for doing that." Yeah, because go ahead.
Now, one thing I can say about that though is you guys remember that post-fight presser after he beat Dillian Whyte. You guys remember in the press conference, he said he wanted to rematch Dillian Whyte.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
I
actually did a
remember.
video like, why he want to rematch this dude? You already took care of him. But at that time, I was like, hey man, fight the dude 6 times if you want to, because none of y'all got a title and none of y'all gonna hold up the division. And that was during the time where that Joshua actually had a WBC ranking. And that's when I was really pushing for him to fight Wilder. I know a lot of UK fans think the American fans only want to see it now because he has a title and he's a cash cow, blah, blah, blah. But no, man, a lot of us have been pushing for that when he had a WBC ranking. A lot of fans forget he was in the WBC rankings at one point. But he's been
Yeah.
wanting to rematch Dillian for shit. Literally after the fight was over. That night he wanted to rematch him. And that was when he said that he doesn't think he himself, Joshua, was world level yet. The man said this himself about his own about himself. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, man. Like I said, it depends on how good Dillian Whyte looks, but he hasn't really looked good. But then again, he hasn't really looked that bad in his last few fights after his loss to Anthony Joshua. I just don't think that that's a fight people want to see at this time. I mean, unless Dillian becomes a champion, then yeah, it'll bring more interest into a rematch. But right now, yeah, not at this point. I just don't see it. I like Dillian Whyte. I just don't think that people will be clamoring a rematch at this time. No, kind of like the people weren't clamoring a rematch between Severn and Wilder. So it's almost like the same atmosphere. It's almost like the same thing. So I don't know, man. A rematch with Dillian Whyte, nah. I don't think that's the route they should not go, in my opinion. I mean, hey, they can fight who they want to fight, but to me, I think they're gonna face big backlash over that. To be honest with you, not just from the U.S. fans, but definitely from some of the UK fans will be upset about that. So, in my opinion, but yeah, man. What else was going to say here? This whole getting into the ring and all that, man. I know I touched upon that a little bit. Do you think that's all psychological warfare, man, or Anthony Joshua just like being serious? You're not getting in the ring no matter what. What do you think? Unless the
like I
contract is
said,
signed.
Dan, it's hard to really tell with this guy, man. Everything is so philosophical with him. I'm not sure what he's doing. But for me as a fan, I would like to see it because I don't think as fans we've ever seen them face to face. Is there a photo out there of Wilder and Joshua being face to face?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. And they keep talking about hyping the fight. It's like 1 minute, and it's weird. It's like 1 minute they don't want the trash talk hype, but then I'll hear Eddie Hearn call, like in an interview we did the other day, I believe it was Fight Hype, where he said he called Shelly Finkel, what do you call him, Shirley Winkle or something?
Yeah.
So it's like, well,
Yeah.
you're trash talking. So what the fuck is the difference? I don't think Wilder gonna go in there and act a fool. I think he'll get in there. They'll confront each other, talk. The fans will go crazy. It'll blow social media up. All of us will be doing a video with that thumbnail of Wilder and Joshua face to face. To
Oh
me,
yeah.
it's a positive. You don't necessarily need a damn contract to get in the ring.
It's
You know what
because
I'm
it's
saying?
obvious Joshua don't want to be within a country mile of Deontay Wilder.
Exactly. And for me, it seems as if like, why don't he want that confrontation? Why don't he want to be in the same, within a few feet of him? Like, why? Why is that? And it can't just be because you need a contract signed. It's more than that. For me, I believe it's more than that.
Yeah, I think it's more than that too. But let's be honest here. We're all boxing fans, right? Who wouldn't want to see that? I mean, remember how we all reacted when Tyson Fury got in the ring with Deontay Wilder after he knocked out Spilka? We all
Yeah.
were like ecstatic when that happened, man. People were like, yeah, we gotta see this fight, man. Everybody, the UK, the US, we all collaboratively was happy to see that, man. That was
Yeah,
a
but
damn good moment.
Tyson Fury wanted to get in the ring with Deontay Wilder. It's like
Yeah.
Joshua don't want to be in the ring with Deontay Wilder right now.
Well,
That's
yeah,
true.
that's true, but my thing is, my whole point is that if one side said, well, we're not into all that hype, then why not? You have to understand, boxing is all about hype. Your guys are hyping about fighting Dillian Whyte in the rematch, and there's no contract signed there. You're hyping about Tyson Fury fight, if there's no contract signed there. So what? I mean, what's the difference here?
They
You
don't
know?
want it. They want those other fights. They don't want this one.
Look, I
Exactly.
think.
Man, and I think go
Look,
go ahead, Dan.
no, I was gonna say, I think they want it, but I just think they're trying to play mind games here. They're trying to tell Deontay, we're in control of this, not you. That's probably what they're trying to tell him. So that's just my opinion. But go ahead, Mr. Boxer.
Nah, I just wish, if he's not into the hype, just be more consistent. You can't say I'm not into the hype and trash talk and then say Shirley Winkle. And then I seen a video where he was mocking, or not mocking, but he was kind of impersonating Wilder, saying, "Make the date, mate, and don't wait," and all that. So it's like, dude, you saying one thing, but then behaving a whole nother way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy to me.
This is crazy, but I'll tell you one thing. Here's what I think. I think Wilder's going to get in that ring no matter what. Maybe security's going to have to hold him back. But even if that's the case, that will still make things more exciting. I know social media is going to blow up over that. Who the hell's calling? Hold on, man. Well, okay, never mind. But anyways, social media is going to blow up over that anyway. It's going to be ecstatic. However, this is going to play out, in my opinion. So, yeah, like I said, fights are built around hype. You can't, there's just no ands if buts about it. Plain and simple, man. I think they, like I said, I think they're just trying to play mind games here on who's in control and who's not in control. That's all it is. That's what it is, in my opinion. So, yeah, man. But Dillian Whyte and Lucas Brown, man. What do y'all? People are saying this is a foregone conclusion now that there's reports to surface that Brown got knocked out in sparring by Derek Chisora. What are your thoughts on that?
There is that who came up with those rumors? That just like in the comment sections on the YouTube, or is that on a boxing website?
I think it was someone who was there reported it and put it on social media.
I got inside information because I know somebody personally who was there. He got knocked out.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, even with that said, in my opinion,
I'll say his name because he already put it out there on the damn Hangout. He put it out there live on the Hangout. Y'all just didn't hear it. It was EJ.
Oh, EJ is what said that. Oh, I go well.
EJ was there, and I trust EJ. I know EJ ain't gonna sell wolf tickets.
Okay. My opinion about that fight is this, man. Brown has been very inactive over the last few years. He hasn't had a really notable fight. Just fought some journeyman. He had the fight with Chigaev a couple years back. But stylistically, when I break down that fight, man, if Dillian Whyte goes in there, like I believe he is going to do, he's going to try to have a tear up because that's just his style. He's going to give Brown a good chance to land in between them punches. He's going to give him a chance to land a big right hand or left hook. It could hurt him. But I think if Whyte goes in there, put up the high guard like he does, work his jab. I think he has a decent jab when he works it. Land combinations, move a little bit, get Brown into the later rounds, mid rounds where he starts to slow down, then apply the pressure. I think he'll dominate the fight. I think he needs to test Lucas Brown's stamina, man, because he's been very inactive. So I got Dillian Whyte to win this by decision, but if he goes in there and tries to knock him out, it ain't shit. Anything can happen. But then I heard Whyte, he was making fun of Brown not being able to knock out James Toney, which I thought was kind of weird. I know it was a 2013 version of Toney, but Toney had like 92 fights. That man's never been knocked out.
Exactly. I don't know. I don't know what Dillian Whyte's talking about. Exactly.
I think he's underestimating his power.
Yeah, man. I don't know what Dillian Whyte's talking about right there, man. Because I mean, who hasn't knocked out James Toney, like you said, man? I mean, the only guy who ever knocked him down was Roy Jones. That was back in 1994 super middleweight days. So
Samuel Peter knocked him down with a jab in that second fight.
Oh, he did? I don't recall that. Okay, you could be right. I'll go back.
Dillian Whyte's a cornball, man. Fuck that dude.
Well, I mean, look, I'm picking him to win this fight, but then again, that's why I tell people don't count Lucas Brown out, man, because he's been down before. He's came back. We saw what he did against Ruzla Chigaev. Chigaev was boxing him pretty much gave him a boxing lesson, and then after that, Lucas came in there and knocked him out with one good right hand. It put him down badly and finished him off in that fight. So yeah, man. I mean, Dillian shouldn't take. He can't take this lightly, man, because I think this rumor going out about him, about Chisora getting knocked out and sparring. So it is what it is, man. But but let's see. Let's go on here, man. So like I said, it's just this heavyweight stuff, this bonanza stuff, man. What do you see the Wilder versus Brazil, Mr. Boxer, today? Do you see that realistically happening?
Yeah, because the fight's easy to make. Brazil and Dillian Whyte, last I looked, I believe Whyte was number 1 and Brazil was number 2 in their rankings. Right. That would be something I think that Wilder should consider, because he's going to get flack if he goes in there and tries to fight like the number 13th rated guy. Even though he just took care of Ortiz, he shouldn't start that trend, man. Just go ahead and start knocking their ass down like dominoes, starting at 1 if he can, and just go right down the list. Plus him and Brazil, they had their alleged altercation or whatever. So there's some built-in little drama there. And Brazil's talking real tough, but Brazil, one of them dudes, man. Like I said before, he's one of them dudes where you could be standing in the top rafters in the arena, throw a bottle in the ring, and it's gonna hit Brazil. That's just how much the dude get hit. So to me, it's an easy fight for Wilder.
All right, that's cool. But you know what, though, we were talking about this the other day, and EJ was at the press conference today with David Higgins with Joseph Parker's crew, and he was supposed to be telling some things about the things they've been upset about when it comes to this negotiation process with Joshua and Parker. Well, that's why I want EJ to get on, because he wanted to ask David Higgins some questions here. Now, but one of the things I did, what I've learned, I'm not sure if this is true or not. From what I learned, Anthony Joshua, there's a rematch clause between Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker, right? And the rumor mill is that Joseph Parker is not the one who can invoke the rematch clause if he loses. Only Anthony Joshua can. So, and we were talking about this back and forth, me and Beats and EJ. Is that, do you think that's fair as a champion? Do you think that's disrespectful for Joseph Parker to not get a rematch clause if he loses this fight in a controversial fashion by any means? What do you think?
Yeah, shit, being a title holder, it's not like he's the one coming in here with no title. He's the contender. You know what I mean? So to some degree, I believe that. But at the same time, though, if you agree to that in the contract, that's on you. You know what I mean? So him and his team to get this fight made, they agreed to that. And we got to go from there with it. So, man, I guess that they feel confident that they're going to beat AJ, plus they want the damn payday. But I think he should have had a rematch clause in his contract too, man, being that the dude is a title holder.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, you know, that's the same thing that Beats were the points that he evoked yesterday, which is a good point because it is business, unfortunately. But let's be fair here. If this was Deontay Wilder, he's a single belt holder. Anthony Joshua is a multi-belt holder. Do you really believe that Deontay Wilder would not get a rematch clause?
I think Wilder and his team would be smart enough to make sure that they get that in the contract. Not to say that AJ and his team or Parker and his team didn't try, because I wasn't in negotiations, but I'm pretty sure that they did, try to do it. But maybe Wilder and his team will make sure they get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, come on. They're both champions at the end of the day, whether you're unified or not. I think you got to be a little more respectful to that. I mean, it's all about principle. I know, Beast and I said, sometimes it's not about principle. Yeah, I get that. But for the most part, to make a business deal work, you got to add principle to it. And I really think that Joseph should have been given that right, in my opinion. Yes, in my opinion. Is that a low place in there?
They got $15 million worth of principle. That's why they don't give a damn about a rematch, bro.
What do you mean?
I saw an article what was saying they were saying what the purses was gonna add up to. Parker was seen to get like 13 million. Hey, he just fought on YouTube the other day, man. Like no joke, literally not his not the replay. His actual fight was by me on YouTube. So $13 million make a rematch seem like nothing. Yeah, you B-side. You got to go in there and handle that business, man. A lot of people didn't have rematch clauses with a Floyd. No matter, I think the only unification he fought was with Canelo. Canelo was unification. I don't think Canelo had no clause, man.
No, well, yeah, I don't think Canelo had a clause. I think he did, but he just decided not to invoke it because the way he got beat. But I will say this, though, Floyd and Oscar, that was a different story because Floyd didn't go in with the title. Oscar was a champion, and of course he was the A side, obviously. So
yeah, I'm just talking about when Floyd was the A side. In the recent times with Floyd, like the people, like Victor Ortiz was the champ. He didn't have a rematch clause. Floyd wasn't. He took like 2 million, man. That money talk, man. I agree with Parker. Fuck a rematch. I gotta beat you next month. That's what I gotta do.
Wait, hold up. So let me get this straight. So you're okay with these guys saying I get a rematch clause, but not you? Well, how's that work?
Man,
especially
that money,
if you're the champion.
Yeah, it's just that money talk, man. Some people bigger than boxing, bro. It ain't nobody's fault but the people who go to the fights and pay for them and the people that promote them as heavy as they do, man. Like it ain't the first time it's gonna happen. Like I just said, Floyd Mayweather was not a title holder. Victor Ortiz was the WBC champion. Victor Ortiz.
Well, actually, Floyd was the Lineal champion when he fought.
He got slight money.
Yeah.
And he had no rematch clause for his belt. No matter either way, he had a title bring it to the party. That's why when people be like, "Why you big up Victor Ortiz?" I'd be like, "Yo, he put that shit on the line." That's all I can ask fighters to do. I mean, quit or not, quit or not. You know, quit or not. The fight got to have a result. Is all I'm saying. So if that's the result, that's the result. I ain't getting whooped, but you know what I mean. Like you got to negotiate and get your ass in there. So. I salute Parker, you know, fuck that shit, man. Go try to knock Joshua ass the fuck out.
So
in that case, with that point, I do agree with Low Place, because sometimes just the opportunity sometimes is bigger than a lot of other things. That's why Ortiz took that little couple million, and Floyd made what, like 35 million or some shit. It was the opportunity was big, man, not just the money. If he was to beat Floyd Mayweather, his stock will rise through the ceiling, man. So sometimes opportunity is bigger.
That's true. That's true. That's true. So that's why I wanted to get EJ out here, because he had some questions for David Higgins. I wanted him to share that with us, but hopefully he could get on. But other than that, yeah, he felt that because David Higgins, because what EJ was saying, that David Higgins was not very, very upset how this whole thing was played out, how this whole deal and how this whole lead up to the fight was played out. So I wanted to get some insight on that. So he was going to ask him about that rematch clause, number one, and number two is about this percentage. What's the actual percentage? How much you get paid? I know he's getting $13 million, right? That's what the report says, right? And he's also getting 32% of the total revenue, which is the gate and perhaps pay per view. So. But the only thing I would say, though, is that rematch clause. I understand what you guys make good arguments. It's a business, but sometimes you have to go by principle. I think that Joseph should have at least got that respect of getting the rematch clause, because he is a champion at the end of the day. He's a champion.
What is his purse? What is his purse? Like if you make, what is it? What he making? 15 million. So look at the purse increases and the increase in the purses, bro. If he just made $1 million other fight, he just got over 1,000% purse increase. Like I'm not. When you can give me that, when you can do things like that for me, bruh, I gotta feed these children. I'll be back whenever you have me back. But I'm gonna whoop your ass in the time being if I can. That's all it is to it. That's walking like a man right there. They are the A side. If you really wanted to be there, you should have got it popping, had better promotion. I don't know, man. Like Joshua, just that guy, and he does Tony Soprano or this shit. You gotta kind of fall under and make your own lane and whoop his ass. That's all you gotta do.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this, and I know you're gonna side with you. I know what position you're gonna take on this one. While Joshua talked about freezing Wilder out,
I ain't taking a side on that.
Okay.
My question to that is, if Joshua freezes him out, what's the next option? Well, it's not a question. It's like the next option is, like I said before, go to the sanctioning bodies and tell them, can I hold this title and be your mandatory to make the best fight in boxing? And then if they freeze him out, what we then need to do is neglect those sanctioning bodies. They not trying to make the best fights. Okay. I mean, if you want to act like you can neglect AJ, you'll just be making yourself angry, because man, the people in the UK ain't giving up on that dude, man. They'll continuously go on and say, even if he's right or wrong, the money. And I'm not finna deal with this with this TMZ shit. Wilder's a fighter. Go fight through any obstacle and get your ass in that position. Make him drop a belt.
2 points. 2 points. Well, 2 points. I'm not gonna be on too long, but 2 points. One, a WBC champion has never been ranked by another sanctioning body. Number one, only the WBC's ever made that exception. Number two, I wouldn't be too sure about the UK fans will be behind Joshua and no matter what, because we talked about this yesterday, because I asked Beats and EJ if the Dillian Whyte fight rematch would happen, would they favor that? They said, hell no, we wouldn't favor that. That makes no sense. Why would he want to? Why should you should think
Povetkin on the undercard? You go to Russia with Povetkin. You can
that's fine. That's fine.
Russia, maybe with Shagayev. It's so many ways.
Yeah, I understand that. What I'm saying is, hold on. What I'm saying is,
I'm not betting against getting frozen out.
Okay, again, what I'm saying is that why rematch? You can't rematch a guy that you've already beat. People are not going to be behind you because of that. Just like we were
the only fight out there, though.
I understand that. But you can only go so far. What other heavyweights is there? There's Povetkin. There's Tyson Fury possibly.
Yeah,
There's
that's a huge issue. That's a huge man. That he not lying, bro. The potential for Wilder to have froze toes is there, man. And if I'm Wilder's people, I'm like, yo, I gotta do what Joseph Parker just did. I gotta see how much percentage my purse is increasing. If man, the way they said it, they said we got 10 times, 10 times the offer. That's 25 million. If Wilder get what, that's 1,000% purse increase, bro. Like you take it. Like don't worry
yeah.
about no percentage or nothing else after that. It's all about could I make this with or without you? And don't worry about what make Joshua making, because he gonna if he want to say, wow, there's such a risk and I want all my money, that's his right. Until he got a sanctioning body on his ass, and man, Beast brought it up a while ago, man. That WBC title ain't done much for him. If you want to drop, maybe you right, Dan. Maybe the WBC is the only people that would allow that. But all I'm saying is try it first. And then if they don't, maybe you just gonna make that man drop a title and make him look like a real pussy instead of a debated
The
pussy.
thing is, maybe this has already been tried, but the other sanction bodies won't make that exception. They won't do that under their discretion. That's why it's never
Hey,
been
Wilder
accepted
say
all time.
everything else. He say everything else. Come on out, speak it. What do you say? Speak it, receive it. Speak it, receive it. Speak it. Just speak. That's all you gotta do. Let the people
But
know.
he already
Hey,
tried to speak. He already done that. Of course, it's like you can't tell the sanction bodies what to do. So
hey,
I mean,
no, I'm not saying tell them what to do. You petition, you go to them and you request something for the good of boxing. You don't know the answer till you go see and do it. That is not a bad option. There's nothing to even argue there. It's just, hey, Kovalev and Kathy Duva had no clue they was finna get to do that. She went to them just quietly. Nobody knew she was going to them. Now they didn't follow through, but hey, Wilder can do. Look, petition anybody. I would start with the WBA. They seem about on par with the WBC more than anybody else.
well,
So
the
I would start
WBA.
there.
Well, let me ask you this: who has the WBA made an exception to?
That's what I'm saying. He got to try to be the first. I don't care if it hasn't happened before. Hey, look, nobody was on the moon before the first man touched the moon. You gotta try to walk on the moon tonight, baby. That's all I can say.
Hey, can I say something, Dan?
Go ahead, Rock. Go ahead, man.
Uh, Low place, you kind of dancing around the question. Like, I understand you bringing up different options of what he can do to do this, that, and the third. Dan asked you, how do you feel about Joshua freezing him out? Like, with the words that Joshua used, it is very soft. It does not sound like a heavyweight champion of the
He told
world.
I give you 10 times the money that you be making. That's what he said. 10
Okay, but
times.
when you say that, you just sound like you hoe out for money.
No,
So
no, no,
like at the
no,
end of
no,
the
no, no.
day,
That's what
if
Wilder need to
people
get
are
his money.
fighting for legacy,
Okay, well, if it's
Wilder
about
wants his
Hold on,
legacy,
T.
legacy.
Let him finish. Let him finish. T. Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Rock. Go ahead, Rock.
If Wilder said he wants his legacy, he wants to fight for legacy. Now, I'm
Mm.
not saying they don't want to fight for money. That's all. That's what they're fighting for. But he wants to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And if they all feel that way, then they should fight the best. If this man is saying, I'm going to freeze you out, that sounds very soft. That is not becoming of a heavyweight champion.
Oh,
You really don't accept it out of any champion. But it's different when we talking about heavyweights.
Can I make
25,
one point?
25 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Boxer Day. Make a big point, brother.
Man, I'm not saying this is low place or whoever else, you know what I mean? But there are some fans out there, they haven't seen an undisputed heavyweight champion. The last time we had one was 1999, man. I was wearing FUBU and all types of shit, you know what I mean? So to them, they ain't never
Shit, I
seen.
was
So
10.
to them, it's like, well, shit, we knew that Vlad was the best heavyweight, even though he wasn't undisputed. So to a lot of some of these fans, they don't even care about none of that shit. But for us that was around and know, or people that younger but study the history, this is valuable, man. We need an undisputed heavyweight champion. All this money talk, I understand it's a business, but this is ridiculous. It's been 20 fucking years, man.
Yeah,
How
I
much longer are we
agree.
gonna have to wait for undisputed champion? And
I
then as
agree.
far as the money, remember when Pacquiao, Mayweather, and I know it, they're more popular combined than these guys are, but I remember when Floyd first said he wanted 100 million. Remember when he first said that in 2009? I was sitting there like, what, 100 million? You'll never get 100 million for one fight. I thought he was crazy. The
Yeah,
man ended up getting double that. And
yeah, that's
Pacquiao,
true.
remember, they wanted him to accept the 40 million, and oh, you should take it because you've only made 5 million in this fight. So look at the percentage. Both of these dudes got way more. Let them handle that, man. As fans, we need to sit back and demand it.
But way
demand
more.
it, get it, demand it, get it. That's what we need to do. No, we shouldn't have to wait. Keep demanding it. These ain't little small welterweights where they can go up and down and duck and dodge. This is one division.
Contradict yourself.
This is one division.
Wait, hold up. Let Mr. Boxer Day finish, man. Go ahead, Mr. Boxer.
I don't.
Go ahead,
no, what I'm saying is, it's hard for me to tell these dudes what they're worth. So if one dude say, "Hey, man, I deserve more," I'm gonna fall back and let them do it. What I'm saying is, as fans, we need to demand it. And this is different from the welterweights where they can go up, down. Go up this division, that division, this is one division. You can't go nowhere. Yeah. There's nowhere to run unless you want to fucking lose weight and try to go to cruiserweight and look like an idiot because then people know you ducking. It's been 20 years, man. Look, I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting. It's been 20 years, man. Yeah, let's get this shit done.
I think we all, if everybody wants an undisputed champion, I don't think people be on here first and foremost. Like, this is a form of demanding it. Like, talking about what they need to do and how quickly they could. That's a form of demanding it. Like, that's a simple. That's easy. Yeah. But when I'm being fair and I'm saying both of these guys could potentially make 450% plus they purse. Yeah, and that shit seems fair. Dog, the man says you 25 million. Go in there and nail that shit out. That's all.
Let me respond to a couple comments on this because they wanted. I want to address them real quickly. Fat Apple says, "Well, why was no one pushing the issue for undisputed when Klitschko and Wilder held the belts?" Well, Fat Apples, most of us were, man. Because yeah, hold up. Fat Apple, stop, man. Yeah, let me address him. Let me tell you something, Fat Apples. I will go on here and admit to you. When Shelly Fecal came out and said that Wilder's not ready for a unification bout with Vladimir Klitschko, I was pissed. I was hot, okay? Yes, I took that as a duck on their end, all right? So I said, look, Wilder's a champion now. He has no excuses. He's got to start fighting, fighting Klitschko. He's a champion. He can't be ignored, okay? I was upset about that, okay? And I was angry. We all came out and was displeased about those comments by Shelly Fecal. And Wilder saying that, and Wilder came out and said, hey, I got the most prestigious belt. Vladimir wants to fight me. He's got to meet me on my terms. I was not happy about that. We all came out and said something about that, bro. So we're being consistent here. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, well, and also the other part of it is Wilder at that time wasn't even on Vladimir's level. Like at that point, he won a fucking title, but he was essentially a contender still.
Can't be a contender if you got a belt.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do that.
Vladimir. He didn't need to fight Vladimir.
Go ahead, Mr. Boxer. Go ahead, Boxer Beats. Go ahead, Beats. Go ahead, man.
You said that Wilder wasn't on his level. That's why. No, the reason that it couldn't happen then is because no one was demanding. The only reason, right? There's a push for you guys
to see it, but I mean, that's me.
Go ahead, Beats.
If people listen, it's just what I said before. If people were pushing Wilder from the Olympics to the contender stage, right, he would have got belts before AJ, and this wouldn't be happening now. This is the whole thing. You can't make listen. Whether AJ is scared or what, that's irrelevant right now. You can't make demands on the A side when they're going to move. You can't. You've just got to try and get in contendership on them. That's what you can do. That's what you can't make demands on the A side when they're going to fight. You can't shame somebody who's making 25 million into fighting. You can't.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely, guys.
That's part of what I was referring to, though, with regards to not being on his level, though. Like, it wasn't even just about proud.
It's gonna take more power than old pedophile face Shelly Winkle to get it done, man.
Hey, Dan.
What's up, man?
Let me just respond to Fat Apples.
Okay, go ahead,
man. And this for everybody. I hate when people do this. Why didn't you say that? I heard nobody say it in 2003. Look, man. Since I've been on YouTube for 9 years, I know I'm just one channel, all right? So, but there's a lot of people that did visit my channel. I was so on Undisputed. I remember doing a collab with another YouTuber talking about, hey, man, would it be, fucked up if Vladimir fought Vitaly? Like, that's how bad I was pushing for Undisputed, where I want to see two brothers fight each other. Or I wanted one of them to just relinquish all the belts so we can have Undisputed. When Stavern got the title after he beat Areola, there were fans out there pushing for Undisputed for Stavern Vladimir. When Wilder got it, people were pushing for that. So please stop with this. Like, now, if you want to say there wasn't as many channels pushing for that there were then, okay, that's fine. But dude, there were people out there, and I'm one of them, that's been pushing for Undisputed for 9 years, whether it was Stavern that had the title, whether it was his damn brother that had the title, whoever had the title, we've been pushing for Undisputed, man. So stop that narrative of you only pushing for it now. That's bullshit, man. There what fans out there that have been pushing for undisputed for the last 20 years.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I get upset when people say that type of shit, man.
No, mixed boxing today. You've got what you're saying there. You haven't got it all in context, right? Whether you was doing it or a few other people means there's not a big enough majority. What we're saying now, there's a bigger swing now, right? There is a bigger swing. That's all it is. You can't take yourself in the minority as the rule. You can't. You're an anomaly in the equation.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
But it wasn't just me though. It was a lot of us that was doing it. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't just me, and I know I'm just one channel, but there were fans coming saying, "Yeah, man, we haven't had undisputed at that time for 13 years, 10 years." But this isn't just some spur of the moment. Now we want it all of a sudden. You've been a fan of this, man. You've been one of the undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox retired, man.
Right. I want to say something about that, Mr. Boxer, today. You remember now, there's all new channels coming in the last 3 years after Pacquiao Mayweather had concluded their fight. Now, before that, there were people who were pushing for undisputed. So now that we got more channels, there's more push for it. You see what I'm saying? So to go on to your point, Beats, that's the trend that was going on. Oh,
let me just say, right, look.
Yeah.
I know you're going to say you don't care about money. You don't care about. I know that's going to come back, obviously. But let me tell you this, right?
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn put the money up for the Charles Martin fight. He stole that fight from Wilder. They was in negotiation for that, right? If Wilder, BBC, and Heyman wanted that belt, right? They had more money than Eddie Hearn. Look, where's all the Floyd Mayweather pay-per-view money? They would have put the money and they said, "No, we ain't gonna let no English guy just coming from nowhere and take the." But they didn't put the money up. $5 million was all it took for Wilder to have 2 belts, but nothing was done. It was complacency. While AJ got the belt, and nobody was expecting that. Everyone thought, AJ's going to sit around with the IBF belt. No, next thing, he's fighting Klitschko. There's 2 belts on the line. And
hold on, let Beats finish. Go ahead, Beats. Go ahead. We're
talking about business, right? I'm not talking boxing right now. In the world of business, if you're not assertive in what you're doing, you lose. Anyone who's ran a business, if you're not assertive and positive in what you're doing, you lose. If you're not ready to play, you shouldn't be here, right? Now, I'm not saying the fight shouldn't happen, but this is the truth. You like everyone thinks, we could all be, after AJ and Eddie have done their work to collect their 2 belts. We're just going to make demands of them. They risk their money. They risk what they did. They developed their fan bases from Olympic. You can't just make demands on them like that. That's not right. I'm not saying the fight should happen, but anyone thinking they should just bow down, I think it's crazy. It's crazy. Look, the onus is on Wilder to come out and say, look, I'm not going to get 50-50. I'm not going to get, they've got to do the negotiation now. They've got to because they haven't risked anything so far in their career. They haven't risked anything. Let's be real. No one's coming out and saying this. Right, and it's the truth. They haven't risked anything.
What do you mean by Beats? When you mean by risking anything, what do you mean by that? Can you be more clear on that? What do you mean?
Put the money up, bro. Put up the money for these things.
Well,
outbid them for the Charles Martin fight.
Okay. Well, speaking of Charles Martin, do you think that Charles Martin actually took on Anthony Joshua because 1, it was a bigger payday, and 2, he thought it was a less risk because he thought. Yeah, because he thought it was green.
Bro, don't be silly now, man.
I'm just saying.
No. They were offering Charles Martin. Bro, listen, if Wilder has only earned $2 million, right?
Right.
How much do you think they offered Charles Martin? Come on, how much do you think they offered him?
Probably $3 million, $2 million.
No, they didn't offer him $3 million. No, they didn't. It wasn't $3 million. I'm gonna bet it was.
Maybe about $2 million.
It wasn't $5 million, was it? It wasn't $5 million.
Well, was it $5 million US dollars or was it $5 million pounds?
Well, that's what Eddie Hearn done. He gave him 5, yeah. He got $5 million.
$5 million pounds. Okay, so if you convert that, let me see. Let me do the conversion real quick.
Convert what is way more than what.
Yeah, it's like when you convert that, it's like $7.5 million.
Let me see. US. Let's do the 5 million pounds, right? Yeah, so they gave him $7
Give or
million.
take.
Yeah, $7 million. Damn, that they overpaid that dude. Jesus Christ. Way
But
too much.
you ain't trust my conversion in my head, motherfucker. I just told you that.
I just need to, nigga. I was trying. Excuse me. I was trying to confirm it.
Fucking
Relax.
Umar's international pimping over there.
I gotta know how to pay my hoes when I'm in Europe, man. Come on now.
Yeah, it's all good, brother.
I'm going to get off a minute because I want to overtake. See, you're right. They did overpay them.
Yeah,
But accumulated, and look where it's look how it's worked out for them.
yeah, that's true. Joshua benefited from that, so it's a good thing. He's made more money. He's become a cash cow now, so it was worth the investment, as you want to call it. So it's about business, right?
Charles Martin he also offered the fight to Joseph Parker too. He just pretty much went around to the highest bidder, man. That's pretty much what he did.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. Exactly.
Right. That's exactly what he did. I want to dominate the conversation, but in my opinion, right, you can't expect Parker to put up a load of money because the New Zealanders have no history in this. They have no history. But America is the biggest sport country in pro boxing. No one can even come near. So to get out, like Eddie we wasn't in the game over here. They wasn't in the game, right? They weren't in the game. Wilder already had a belt. He would have knocked out Charles. Let's just assume Wilder would have knocked out Charles Martin. So the risk was worth it right then. It was at that time. It was worth it right then. Take the 2 belts, but what it was because there's no buzz around this sport. They said, well, we're not going to commit to that. They didn't see what Eddie and Joshua were going to do, and now everybody it's crazy. It is crazy, but that's the scene. But this isn't just boxing. This is business, right? If you don't take certain opportunities, all of a sudden you become obsolete, and you didn't see it coming. Especially in this day and age, right?
Yeah.
Even in the job market, right? If your skills, right, procrastinate for over 8 months, them skills are nearly obsolete now. If you're going up the high end scale of work now,
right?
You got it, man. You got to got it.
Yeah, you got good point. And before I call on Low Place to chime in, but I will say one thing though: you make some excellent points, Mr. Boxer today makes some excellent points. Rock makes some excellent points, and Ben makes some excellent points. I will say this though. Despite all this, yeah, you did. On the conversion, you made. On the conversion, I'm giving you credit for that, bro. Anyways, at the end of the day, they're both champions. They're both the top 2 heavyweights. This is the most anticipated heavyweight fight that we've wanted to anticipate for many years. Nothing's gonna, pretty much this fight's gonna get made one way or the other. We can all go back and forth about what the mistakes that Wilder did and what he should have done, and what Joshua did was right, which is very commendable. But at the end of the day, Wilder's still a champion. He is still going, he is within striking distance of fighting Anthony Joshua, who is the #1 heavyweight in the world. So that fight's going to happen one way or the other. So,
around, now maybe I forgot, but around the time that Martin was making the fight with Joshua, didn't Wilder have other obligations at that time? He was going through his whole thing with Povetkin.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. He was. But he did still got a voluntary defense though out of that situation. So
you can do unification over superseding the mandatory, but
that's true.
Yeah.
I know that part, but I'm saying just the extent that Povetkin and his team was taking on the court or all that type of shit. But to me, at the end of the day, man, and then another thing we got to factor in is maybe Martin and his team felt like shit, man. The lesser option is AJ as far as them thinking he can beat him in the ring because they offered it to Parker first.
I think he knew he wouldn't beat none of them, but he just sold it, and he should do that. Like he should get his.
He sold it to the highest bidder, man.
Yeah, hey, but
then look what he did. This is how you know he sold to the highest bidder. The last time you heard from this nigga, he was standing in front of the Bentley he bought after he got his ass knocked out in them tight ass trunks. That's all he was about.
Yeah. Well, and at the very least, the whole idea of him selling time, like all of them were risky. All the fights were going to be risky for Martin either way because, he was an unproven fighter, relatively speaking. So, I mean, that was going to be a step up for him either way. So, at that point, it's risk versus reward. The risk is all, roughly equal thereabouts as far as Martin's concerned, as far as, he doesn't know who he's going to match up best against. So, might as well take on the guy that's going to give you the most money.
Yeah. But, hey, guys, just – okay. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead real quick. You guys go ahead and chat up. I'm going to come back here.
I was going to say, shit, at that point where they're all like that, beginning in 2016, they're all damn near unproven, in my opinion.
Well,
can I make a point about this?
No, that's
undisputed
true. But at the same
champ
time, like
already?
I'm just talking about like from Martin's perspective, like putting yourself in his shoes.
Right.
They're all risky fights. So at that point, I mean, just take whichever's the highest reward, because the risk versus reward is gonna come out in your favor in that case.
and even now, look, you see, here's the thing, right? You've got to look at the landscape now. If Joshua loses next week, right, there's no guarantee that Duco events are going to say, yeah, we're going to take up Wilder for undisputed strength. Trust me. If Joshua is looking at other options, so are they. You think they're just going to go in there and go to the Barclays Center and hand the title over to? No.
No, what they're going to do? Yeah, know what they're going to do?
Yeah. Sorry, Dan. Let me finish.
Okay. Oh, go ahead, man. Yeah.
What they're going to do, right, is now they've got 3 belts. They've got 3 belts. They're going to be exercising a side on your. There's no, the people are demanding it, we're going to buckle. Hell no. They're going to A side everyone. Everyone's getting A sided. That's what's happening. Now, I know that no one wants to hear that, but that's the reality.
They'd rematch Joshua. They'd rematch Joshua and then fight a whole bunch of mandatories.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. They're going to milk the situation as long as they can. They're going to play hardball. Hey, we're the A side now. We can do what the hell we want. We got 3 belts. Okay, whatever. I mean, who hasn't done it? Everybody's done it. You know what I mean? With some few exceptions, but yeah, they're going to try to milk the situation as long as they can. Go back to New Zealand, make some few fights over there, and then eventually get a unification bout with Wilder. Yeah, so either way it goes, no undisputed fight is going to happen this year. It's going to take till next year.
I ain't buying no pay-per-view from Joshua until I see the Wilder fight. That's the only fight I see where we buy it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But in reality, like, listen, man, if Joshua loses, if you think he's bad now, Higgins, that obnoxious piece of whatever listen, bro, he's going to be talking hella greasy to Wilder and Shelly Finkel and them guys, and they won't care less. Yep. Hella greasy. 3 belts strapped around the thing. They're going to be walking around like they're generals, bro.
Yeah, well, that's yet to be seen, man, because March 31st would definitely be an interesting day for the heavyweights, man. Especially all this talk, all this bickering that's going on, man, about one fighter feels he's being overlooked. Man, if he does win that fight, that would definitely change the landscape of the heavyweight division. A huge landscape. Kind of like how Holyfield.
I don't think he got a snowball chance in hell of beating Joshua. I don't think he's got. I don't think he's got a chance.
Hey, but Mr. Boxer today could attest to this, and maybe Beast could attest to this too. Remember when Holyfield beat Tyson?
Who the fuck is whistling, man? Who's whistling?
I don't know. Is it Rock or Nyota? No, Nyota's mute.
I thought I was on mute. I thought I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
I can't whistle.
Yeah, but yeah.
Sorry, the only hope for the heavyweight division right? The only hope. So that it goes through smooth, because right now I understand what Mr. Boxing today is saying. We're just going to demand it, but we've been doing that for years with a multitude of matches from social media, and it doesn't really work. How long did Pacquiao? Is that the only thing? Is that tournament? That's the only thing. What's working in the cruiserweight? You get all the belts in, and then the tournament thing. How they work out the money? I don't know. But right now, it's just not gonna, like, everyone's gonna do it. Listen, when Wilder gets the belt, he's gonna do the same thing. And listen, you guys, like a lot of people who support Wilder from America, they're gonna be supporting what he does. And the other countries who think they're getting lowballed, they're gonna say, "Oh, he's ducking. Look, you don't want to fight." Because he's gonna A-side everyone because it's been done to him.
Yeah.
Hey, can I reply to Fat Apples, man? That should have been a minute ago. He said about Wilder should have fought Klitschko, and you said everybody agreed. I honestly didn't think. I thought they was right. Yeah, but now, even though it played out to he needed to get it popping earlier, skill wise, that man needed not to be in the ring with Vladimir Klitschko. Klitschko was already a lineal champion, and that means way more than undisputed to me. Ali didn't have 4 belts. Klitschko don't need 4 belts. These belts is just fucking straps for all I care. But how is Klitschko the lineal champion? When somebody said Klitschko's lineal champion, when somebody said that these titleists shouldn't have belts, man, shouldn't have belts when they're not ready. Look, first and foremost, undisputed.
But Klitschko wasn't the fucking lineal champion.
Please, man, hold on, please. You can go look at the record books and see Klitschko is the lineal champion. Klitschko's okay. So you got Tank Davis. You got what's the little guy, the little Irish guy, Mick Conlon. They gonna win belts, and they not gonna be ready to fight right away. You're not gonna stop promoters from doing that. So that's why when I make arguments for go be the lineal champion, it couldn't be Terrence Crawford could drop every belt at 140 and sit there and say, I'm the man. You can come win this little vacant belt. Well, he could hold 1 or 2 just to have a stake. But that's why this undisputed. When you say undisputed, I only know, man, Wilder can literally drop the WBC title and make Joshua look like a faggot when he make him throw a fucking belt in the trash can. And then at that point, hold on. And then at that point, it ain't even my job to see the fight no more, because I ain't want to see no pussy fight. You see what I mean? So that's why I tell you, lineal. Everything. I lead.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Nah, man. No. First of all,
and can somebody address how the fuck was Vladimir Klitschko the lineal champion?
He's lineal champion since 2009.
Hold on.
A lot of people consider him that after he beat Chagayev.
Yeah.
Tell us why you.
Because the last lineal champion that I recognize would have had to been Lennox Lewis, and then Lennox retired and Vitaly picked up his belt. So if anything, Vitaly should have been the lineal champion. How the fuck was Vladimir the lineal champion? Who did he beat? He didn't even fight Lennox.
No, but it's because when Vitaly was doing his whole emeritus thing.
Well, hold up. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, now.
Some people would recognize.
Okay, go ahead.
No, this is not a debate. This is me asking a fucking question. I'm not debating anybody.
Okay. All right, guys, hold on. Relax. Go ahead, Beats. Go ahead.
Conversation. Did Vitaly not retire?
Yeah, he did. So Vitaly. So if you're telling me Vitaly had the lineal title, but he retired, and somehow Vladimir got it, then fair enough. But the next person to hold Vladimir's belt was Deontay Wilder. So I'm not understanding. This transfer of linealship.
It don't work like give me your WBC belt.
It's the lineal champion. It's the lineal champ.
No. When the lineal champ retires, it's number 1 versus number 2.
The belt retires.
That's what it is.
Well, let me.
So then at the time after Lennox retired, you're telling me Vladimir was rated higher than Vitaly.
You going by the way you go.
One at a time.
Oh, my bad. I go next.
Yeah, one at a time. But let me just say this.
Go ahead now.
I'm asking you a dead ass serious question. People are trying to fucking debate me.
Well, if you
I'm asking a fucking question.
I'll go after now.
Okay. Relax. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nayo, or Beats, Nayo, to one of you guys go.
I'll go. After Lennox retired, there was no lineal champion. I mean, some people might say like, oh, Vitaly versus St. Peter might have been one of them, but there wasn't a lineal champion after Lennox retired. There wasn't a lineal champion again in some people's minds until Vladimir fought Chagayev, which at that point Vitaly was retired or semi-retired or whatever the fuck he was doing. He hadn't been fighting. He wasn't active. So a lot of people consider Vladimir versus Chagayev for the lineal belt. Vladimir trounced Chagayev easy. And, so that's where a lot of people come.
Well, I think this shit, honestly, I'll take what you guys are saying, fair enough. But this shit sounds convoluted to me. You can't just randomly.
And that's why Tyson Fury is like, he considers himself.
What you're saying, that Jose Ramirez is the lineal champion at 140 because he picked up the WBC after Terrence Crawford dropped.
Well, let me say this,
and it can't work like that. You gotta fight. They gotta
well,
fight.
let me say
I
this.
don't know. I don't think there could be a lineal champion at 140 right now because Terrence Crawford just left the division and dropped all the belts.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna take a while. Yeah,
that's what
personally, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is how these boxing writers or whoever's coming up with who's the lineal champion are deciding, okay, this fight's for the lineal title 10 years after somebody retired.
Based on whoever's number 1 versus number 2.
Yeah, James DeGale.
Okay, fair enough.
James DeGale was the last. What was it? Vacant lineal title fight, number 1 versus number 2. Like, so yeah, like he was the lineal champion. That's all these brothers need. They don't need a sanctioning body where a guy can hold a belt and never fight them. Nah, man, the people back in the day that everybody respected and I have 5, 6, 7 belts, they had one fucking strap. And they was the heavyweight, the light heavyweight, whatever champion of the world. And today I'm still rocking with lineage.
Well, the problem is those old rules don't exist no more, bro. Hold up. Those old rules, wait. Right. Hold up. Let me finish. Hold up. Those old is this.
So then right now,
Wait, hold
let
on,
me ask you a question. Right now, technically, right now, just let me ask one more question, Dan. Just one more question.
Okay, go ahead, man. One
This is
question.
the last question, and I'm gonna leave the subject on, I promise. So then, technically, right now, the lineal champion is who? Tyson Fury?
Yeah, but he's basically vacated when he retired. He vacated. He's
Like
retired.
I don't know who the lineal champion heavyweight is. Like
basically,
this shit is crazy.
Yeah, if he comes back at some point, you know, he'll still be the lineal until otherwise noted. If he never fights again,
he's retired. His is gone, bro. He's gone.
Look, you can't reserve lineal for someone and then can't do that because we don't know when he's gonna come back. You don't know. He's got whatever ADHD and stuff. You can't reserve it for him. You can't reserve it.
No, it's not about reserving it. That's what the term lineal means.
Well, can I say something? Oh, wait, hold up. Let me say something. First of all, the old rules of the lineal championship doesn't exist at today's standards no more. That does not mean we don't respect the lineal championship as a whole. That doesn't mean that. What I'm telling you is that your argument is that if you're the lineal champion, that's the end of be all. That's it. You got to go after that guy. No. To become the #1 guy, you have to beat the other champions, man. That's become undisputed. Yeah. So with that said, hold up. Go ahead. No, what?
Getting the belt doesn't rate you top 4. That dude.
Yes, it does.
Number 9.
No, it doesn't.
Get Adonis Stevenson in the conversation.
There's nothing about Adonis Stevenson. It's literally I just mentioned Terrence Crawford and you mentioned Adonis Stevenson.
No place.
Wait, hold up. Oh, let Beats finish. Go ahead, Beats. Go ahead.
Dan just ended the conversation with what he just said. You can't really argue what he said. You can't.
Yeah, I can show you other champions that are not top 4 in the division. Yeah, you don't have. Okay. When you win a vacant title, when you win a vacant title, no, that's undisputed. It is. But undisputed is covered in lineal. Guys like Mick Conley can come win a title.
He's still be as a champion. He's not a top 4 at 120.
Yeah, just because you win a belt don't make you top
4. Wait, hold up. One at a time. Beats, go ahead. Respond to that, Beats. Go ahead.
That's why I tell you. To kind of do a bit of old school, but you don't think it's necessary. That's not that. You can't just take the belt or 2 guys fight for the vacant belt and they're lineal. It doesn't work like that. You've actually got to elevate the belt. Yeah, you can't you see how you say Adonis Stevenson is lineal. He's not really. He's not because there's other like heavyweights.
No, let him finish. Let him finish, man.
No place. Hold on. You keep saying Adonis Stevenson is lineal champion. But the facts are, since he's been reigning, there's one man who's had 3 belts who didn't have no belts when he
refused to fight him. One man that refused to fight him 4 times. It doesn't work that way, bro. You can't. No, it doesn't. Okay, if it works that way, then he wouldn't be the lineal champion.
Hey, you gotta stop over talking.
You're trying to tell me a fact that's not. You're trying to give me a fact that's not.
Hold up.
Go read the article.
Hold up. I gotta mute you, man. Let Beats finish his point, and then you can respond after.
Just direct it. If you're gonna tell me a fact that ain't a fact, just direct it to somebody else.
Dude, you gotta look. Just let him finish, man. You gotta stop interrupting him when he's talking. But go ahead, Beats. Finish, man.
You can't take the burning. That's why. Low place. Let me tell you something, right?
Okay.
When you have, listen. Let me tell you something, right? Jersey Joe Walcott has way more accolades to his resume than Adonis Stevenson could have in 10 years. When he had the belt, they called him an interim champion, right? You can't just have a belt and call yourself lineal or undisputed. Ezra Charles had way more accolades to his career than Adonis Stevenson could ever have, and they wouldn't give him the belt after he won it, the vacant belt that Joe Louis left behind. You can't just win a belt.
And what era did they fight in, Beats? I can't
let him finish. Let him finish, dude. Let him finish. God damn. Go ahead, Beats. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, right? You say you don't want to do old school, but you're using old school terminology, and you don't know the standards that apply to it. You don't understand it, right? You can't just call yourself that. It doesn't work like that.
He took it from the lineal champion. I don't have to argue with you, Beats. It's on paper, bro. He took it from the Look, Beats, you spoke. Beats, you spoke.
Yeah. Beats. Hold on. Let Low finish. Let Low finish. Let Low finish. Go ahead,
The
Low.
man took the title from. I can't help what Ezra Charles fought in, and they didn't want to do him right because his color, his skin, and none of that shit. All I can tell you is right now, when Badu Jack matter of fact, when you say elevate the belts, then you don't consider Terrence Crawford the lineal champion at 140 because he didn't win. He won a lineal title. He fought one. Well, he didn't win it from what's the name, so that point would be moot. So I won't go there. But I can use I didn't say Adonis Stevenson, so I didn't want to talk Adonis Stevenson. I mentioned Terrence Crawford. Adonis Stevenson won his lineage from the lineal titleist, just like Tyson Fury did. And I'm not finna sit up here and argue with somebody with what's right there on the paper.
Okay, you know what?
Hold on. If you can't accept what's on the paper,
okay, Rock.
Hey, respect the WBO champion that won it from the number 15 man. I don't care.
Okay, well, Rock. Okay, Rock has a question. I'm going down the line on this question, but go ahead, Rock.
So, is there a welterweight lineal champion?
No.
Why not?
Pacquiao retired. Floyd Mayweather was a lineal champion, and Pacquiao didn't beat him, and he retired. They gave Pacquiao.
But when Floyd retired, a lot of people considered number 1 versus number 2.
Yep, some
Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley.
Yeah. You're right. Some had him number 2, some didn't. I even proved that when I was debating somebody who was making that point that he wasn't he wasn't universal number 1 and number 2.
But how often is something universal? You got to get a whole bunch of
Badu Jack Adonis Stevens. Badu Jack James DeGale was universal 1 and 2. Like I'm not telling you it ain't. I'm not telling you it's perfect, but we also know sanctioning bodies ain't perfect either. So why you coming at me? Do you love sanctioning bodies? Yes or no?
Right. Go ahead, Rock.
I just like boxing, but at the end of the day, I just like
lineal then. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got another question.
Hold on, Rock. Hold up, real quickly. Let me go down the line on this one. Now I'm gonna start with Mr. Boxer today on this one because I know he didn't want to get in on this. What is more important? Getting a lineal title or collecting all the belts to become the number 1 guy in the division? Mr. Boxer today, starting with you.
To me, perfect example of all this lineal and all that, for me, at least is when, let's say like when Michael Spinks beat Holmes, right? He was a lineal champion. He didn't want to enter the HBO tournament or whatever. So he let go of the IBF title. He was still looked at as the man that beat the man, the lineal champion. Mike picked up all the belts. He was undisputed. I think they're both important because I do want to keep track of who was the guy that beat the guy. Like when Fury beat Vladimir, and I know Fury's been out for a couple years and he's gone from the sport. But if you're the man that beat the man, the guy that was looked at as the best heavyweight in the world, and you let go of the titles, you might not have titles, but you are still looked at as the guy that beat the guy and nobody has beaten you. I think they're both important. But what I don't like, for me, that irritates me as a boxing fan, is I have 3 or 4 guys running around calling themselves the champ. That's what I just look at and be like, man, I don't want 3 or 4 damn champions, man. Like I want to know who is the best guy. So now you can rate them however you want. You can have, you can think the WBA champions, the top guy, the WBOs, the second, you can rate them however you want. But when you have 3 or 4 dudes calling themselves the champ, it's just a lot of confusion to a sport that's already, we're adding titles. It seems every, 3 or 4 years, there's another title added. We're not, not 3 or 4, but you guys get what I'm saying. The IBO might become recognized in the next 5-10 years. So to me, man, I think I want undisputed. That's why I've always been a fan of it. So we can know who the top guy is. And even if we do get undisputed, and then one of the belts get broken away, kind of like what happened with Lennox when he let go of the WBA, then John Ruiz won it. We still knew that Lennox was the man because he established that he was the undisputed champion, and he didn't get beat for that WBA title.
Right. Yeah, all that made Ruiz was a contender basically.
Cool. Okay. Then next I'm gonna ask Ben Umar. Ben Umar, what's more important, a lineal champion or being the champion, beating all the other champions, become the top guy? What do you think?
Bro, this shit is so convoluted because, like, bro, you literally could have all the belts.
Right.
Like this is what I'm talking about right here. This is what this shit gets haywire for me. It gets convoluted. If Joshua Wilder fight tomorrow, right, on the playground for the belts, one of them's gonna walk away from that fight with all the belts, but still technically Tyson Fury is the lineal fucking champion. So which carries more weight with people is what I want to know. To me, I don't know. I don't really give a fuck about most of those belts. So I want to lean towards Lineal, but the way Lineal is being described in this conversation makes me not give a fuck about that either.
Yeah.
Yo,
Okay.
So I really don't even know how to judge it, bro.
yeah.
But I
Okay.
think if we're gonna do the undisputed thing, the WBO should be left out of it. It should be the 3 main belts because that's
Okay.
already pushing it from what it originally was, and that should
Okay.
be that.
Okay. Hold on, hold on for a second. I'm gonna get B Marsh here. I know he just jumped here. B Marsh, what do you think, man? And by
What's
the
the
way,
question?
what do you think is more important? A guy capturing just a lineal title, or a guy who's capturing all the belts from the other champions and establishing himself become the champion? What do you think?
Oh, that's a good question. To be honest, to me, it depends also who that man got them belts from. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, Lineal is nice and all. It's nice, and I like undisputed too. I think any fighter should try to be undisputed, but I think that one is a dicey situation because it depends how the division is and who the person beat in order to gain all them belts, you know what I'm saying? Or who the person beat in order to be lineal champion, you know what I mean? But lineal champion is a good thing still because you know what I'm saying, it traces back the man who beat the man,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it remember like back like what do you call it with Mitchell and Roy Jones?
Yeah.
Roy Jones was undisputed, right? But the
Yeah.
other dude, the German dude, had the lineal title.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That he beat, you know what I mean?
Well, that's an interesting question. In that situation, since Roy Jones captured all the titles from all the other champions, and Michael Zuzki didn't really do it except for Virgil Hill when he had 2 belts at one point. Do you feel that Roy Jones was more recognizable as the legit champion than Michael Zuzki?
I do.
I
Okay.
do, yeah. But
Okay.
there's people gonna say he ain't get the lineal. He ain't fight the man who was the man.
Yeah, but
Can I jump?
hold up. Yeah, but that's a good point. But many will argue that Jones fought all the other light heavyweights. Michael Zuzki didn't really do that. So that's another argument can be made right there.
And they fought the same guys. They were
Yeah,
just
they did.
trading
Can I jump
their
in?
opponents.
Yo, Dan, what are you calling him? Michael Zuzki? You mean Michalski?
Yeah.
God damn, you butchered his name,
Yeah,
man.
my bad.
Mitchell Zuzki.
Yeah, whatever. Wait, hold on, real quickly. Let me get Beats in.
Yo,
Hold on. Let me get Beats in. Let me get Beats in here. Go ahead, Beats. Go ahead.
Look.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Look, what? See, when people shouldn't. You know something? Lineal should be out of the lexicon of modern day box.
Thank you.
Because there's 4 belts, right? How can you say you're the lineal champion and then someone comes up and wins 3 belts on you? Wins 3 belts. You're not a lineal champion. It's crazy, right? It doesn't make any sense. How does it make any sense, right?
that was like Zolt Erdy. He was a lineal champion for 5 years.
Hold on. Go ahead, Beats. Let Beats finish his point.
Let me get caught, right? The only thing that should matter right now, if you want to define who's the champion, who's putting in the work, who's putting in the bodies, right? As far as I'm concerned, right? You can give Keith Thurman the lineal championship because he's got Floyd's old belts, but Errol Spence is the man, and that's what counts. He wants to fight. He's looking good. He went abroad to take his titles, and he's looking good. He's scoring stoppages. He excites the welterweight division. He's the man. That's the only thing people should be looking at is matchups. All this lineal and undisputed. How can you be lineal and undisputed? And there's 4 different title holders, and you don't want to unify.
Thank you. Yeah, let me get Nayoda. Hold on, let me get Nayoda in there real quickly. No. You respond. I'll let you respond after Nayoda.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say kind of almost what B Marsh kind of did because basically it really depends on the situation. I mean, I could go back to like recently with the flyweights when Roman Gonzalez and Juan Estrada was still there. Gonzalez was the lineal champion. He beat Yagashi to get that. Estrada was a unified champion. He beat Valoria to get that.
Right.
Who was fighting the better competition? It was pretty much a wash between the two. People wanted to see that rematch. It didn't happen. But to me, it was number 1, number 2, number 2, number 1, whichever way you wanted to flip it. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. And then or look at the Roy Jones versus Michalczewski situation. Roy Jones wasn't the lineal, Mitch Golchevsky technically was, but Roy Jones was the one really fighting all the top guys there. You know, he was fighting. You know, they said he fight nobody. He made him look like nobody. That's basically what the lyric from his song, but it was true. It was really the truth of what happened.
Okay, T response.
And then
T
you
response
get,
to that.
and then you
Oh,
get.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Noel. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Noel.
I was gonna say, and then like say like for instance, you look at lightweight. Joel Casamayor was the lineal champion at the same time that Juan Diaz had unified 3 of the 4 belts. Had the judges not been stupid and actually given Jose Armando Santa Cruz the decision that he deserved against Casamayor wouldn't have been a champion of anything. So at that point, Juan Diaz really was the more proven fighter between those two.
Okay, fair enough. T, get in. What do you want to respond?
First, I'm gonna read what I wrote. He said we so used to people fighting around lineage that we disrespect lineage. Only real men fight for it, and that's all I want to see. Fuck the pussies that don't fight for it. And simply what I'm saying is, if you had to go back to why Roy Jones didn't go get his paper over there to fight the lineal champion, then I don't have to excuse Roy Jones for that. I'm looking at a guy today. Badu Jack could have fought any titleist he wants. But instead, he fighting the lineal champion. So if you can find holes in lineage, understand I can go back just a few days ago and find holes in the WBO, WBA, IBF, IBO, you name them. They got holes. I'd rather have holes in one thing and one champion than to look around and say, oh, I got 4 titleists, and they all could honestly be pick and choose which one you want to fight for. I don't care how many you wouldn't go get. If you ain't fighting for the lineage, to me, bro, I don't care. Like, I'll watch a matchup maybe. But at the end of the day, you know what the goal is with me, and that's all I'm gonna do is push fighters to that, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with telling a fighter, "Yo, go fight the lineal champion, make it happen." If he duck you in his sanctioning body, then we as the fans should look at that and say, "Hold on." If he duck you in his sanctioning body, we as the fans should go looking and say, "Yo, he gave his lineage. He refused to fight with his title." Like you said with Spinks, Tyson respected lineage. He still chased it. He paid for it. He came out that pocket for it. I respect it. That's all it is to it, man. I don't give a fuck about these.
Well, B Marsh, you want to respond? I'll get rocking next. You want to respond to that, B Marsh?
Damn, what I was about to say. Damn, I even forgot what I was about to say, man.
It's all good. We'll get back to you when you bring it up.
Can I get in there quickly? Just very quickly.
Go ahead, BT. Go ahead, man.
Let me tell you about Michael Spinks. Great light heavy. Not going to take that away from you. But as soon as you duck the heavy lifting in the tournament, right, your belt was just a formality. So all your lineal shit doesn't mean nothing. You didn't want to do no heavy lifting. You didn't want to fight Bone Crusher. You didn't want to fight unbeaten Tony Tucker. You didn't want to do the... Mike Tyson was the dude. Mike Tyson reinvigorated boxing in your country and all around the world. That's all you need to know. So listen, you know what people need to do in boxing? Stop putting your little punksy little titles and lineal and undisputed, and there's no proof and there's no body of work behind it. It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're talking about old school boxing, you had to earn your stripes before you could put these lofty titles beside your name. I'm so and so. I'm this, that. You don't mean shit, bro. You don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson was the dude.
But in this situation, though, it would mean something, because in this situation with the heavyweights right now, you can argue this shit. Parker, Wilder, and Joshua, probably not in any specific order, are the top 4 or 5 heavyweights. So in this situation, you got the top 4 or 5 guys that are fighting for the titles. So undisputed would mean something, in my opinion, in this certain situation, because those are the top guys. You're going to throw Ortiz in there. Okay, cool. Throw him in there. Wilder just beat him. So to me, undisputed does mean something right now. And I think these dudes getting together, unifying this title, and it's history, man. We haven't had one in 20 years. Maybe that doesn't mean something to most people, but it's history. It can't be taken away from you, no matter what people think or thought of the division at that time. To me, you got the top guys that are holding belts right now, or at least arguably top 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, good point. Fair enough. Yeah, let me get Rock in here. Rock, what do you think, brother? I'm gonna get my thoughts after Rock.
To answer your question, Dan, both undisputed and lineal do mean something. But like, I've listened to Beats videos for many years now, and I remember one thing he said: when a fighter isn't putting in the work, whatever titles they have, they lose its luster. Like, they don't mean as much. So if you have, any sanctioning body belt, but I mean, you fighting bum after bum after bum, your belt don't mean nothing.
Thank you.
So if you've won the Lineal title and you have not fought anybody since, that title means nothing as well. Okay, you beat the man to beat the man,
So, can I
but if
rebut
you
that?
fight
Well, hold
15
on.
bums after that, what does that mean? A Lineal title is something that don't get stripped.
Oh,
Is something like in a lot of people's public
Uh,
opinion.
I,
So is
I remember what I was
so
about to say.
Well, okay, go
Hey,
ahead. Go ahead, BR.
all I was gonna say, if fighters were doing what they're supposed to do, then lineage is inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Number one and two gonna fight each other, and it's also it's also a path to going on to become undisputed. You know what I mean? In the heavyweight division, it might be a roadblock because Tyson Fury is inactive, but the other guys who have belts, they could start the process, and that process first is going through unification to become undisputed. Then the lineal title. Hey, if Tyson Fury wants to a dance partner, it's going to be undisputed in lineal if he comes to party with those guys who
right,
become
but if
undisputed.
Tyson Fury come back and look like shit, like what actually does it mean that you beat him?
It
That's my
means
point.
nothing, but it's just a lineage, man. Yeah,
And he's
and it's not going to be
I'm not
because
who,
he
saying
who
I'm not
whooped the
died.
saying
guy
I'm
ass?
not
The
saying
guy
lineage
who
isn't
whooped him, the
important.
guy who
I'm not
whooped him,
saying
you go
Wait,
whoop
wait,
his
wait, wait.
ass.
T,
Yeah,
hold up, hold up. Let Rock finish, and you can respond to T.
I'm not saying lineage isn't important, but
yeah.
lineage is important just like undisputed is important. But undisputed, I mean, honestly, you got to beat 4 champions to get all 4 belts.
Let me.
Lineage, you beat one
and
guy, and
yeah,
you can sit on your one victory and
and
fight bums for the rest of your career, and like you'll have your lineal title until
yeah.
you walk away.
I
Can
mean,
I?
and
Can
you could talk shit about mandatories all day, but if you win all those belts and you keep defending those belts, you have to defend against a tough mandatory at some point or another.
Right,
Let me tell you,
exactly.
what Rock just said would go for Artur Beterbiev here recently. His mandatory refused to
Go for
fight him.
Adonis Stevenson.
No. I'm not even. No, you shitting on lineage. No, you shitting on lineage. But I'm gonna also tell you how you shitting on the belts. Like because if you're talking about Adonis Stevenson, three mandatories have been moved aside. So Artur Beterbiev just had a
But you shit on
mandatory.
Deontay
Hold
Wilder when
on,
you
no,
didn't agree
no.
with the opponents he was
Hold on.
fighting
You
after
Oh,
the
hold on,
ring
hold on.
belt.
you win,
Well,
you win,
hold on, Rock.
you
Let
win.
T finish. Let T
Deontay
finish.
Wilder is building his legacy. He'll get there when he get there, and I'll be respectful of whatever it is. But what I'm telling you is, you just said I wasn't even talking about Adonis Stevenson. I was going to take you to Artur Beterbiev, but since you said Adonis Stevenson, you need to recognize that as a champion, he has no right to duck mandatories. WBC have had to move 3 mandatories because they did not take the fight. Artur Beterbiev, I guess you think his WBO title means nothing because he can't put in the work because his mandatory Jurgen Bramer just told him no thank you. See, I think some of y'all, and I don't care how far you go back in boxing, you are used to the Floyd Mayweather era because you talked a lot about it. Floyd Mayweather wasn't really dangerous. He was a good defensive fighter, but anybody was willing to fight his ass. But sometimes motherfuckers ain't willing to fight you no more. So your belt kind of just get, I don't want that belt. So you got to put in work who you got
Well,
to put in work
let
against. And that's just that. You can
no.
argue it all day, but the fact is the fact. You used to the Floyd Mayweather.
Boy, you
So
just
Adonis
torched it.
Stevenson, is the most feared boxer in boxing history. Them two, according to T.
People wanted to whoop Floyd Mayweather ass. Nobody felt they could hurt him. Floyd was a great fighter. I take nothing away from him. I respect him highly. But ain't no mandatory ever told Floyd, bruh, I see an easier route. They wanted the money. They thought he was easy
All
work, and he
right.
just defensively beat him.
Nah, man.
Now when you
Hold on,
Because
hold
he
on,
had
wait.
the most money to offer, man.
Wait,
Come on,
hold on.
man.
Hold
them
on.
fellas ain't fight him.
Can I get it? Can I get it?
Yeah, go ahead, Beats. I'm gonna get in after you, Beats. Go
All
ahead.
right, no, please. Let me tell you something, though, please. I'm just going to go old school and tell you every time, right? If your man is such a great lineal champion and he can't get no fights, go up to Cruiser. Go up to
Thank
him.
you. Thank you.
Hey, Beast, I ain't mad at
No,
you.
no,
I ain't mad at that. He don't have to, but he
let
can.
me finish. Let me finish. Go ahead.
I ain't done. I want to go get to Tyson Fury next, right? I'm sick of everyone attributing lineal thing. Listen, if you're going to say lineal, you've got to look at the other great lineal guys. The only reason, right, they held any weight on Joe Lewis's lineal claim is because he was a 12-year champion, right? The only reason Holmes had to beat Ali even though he was sick and fucked up is because he's the greatest, right? Same with James J. Jeffries. The only reason they called him up to fight Jack Johnson because he was the greatest champion up until that point in Queensberry rules. Tyson Fury didn't even defend his fucking belt. Stop giving him lineal status. In old school terms, you have to defend your belt at least 2 times before they consider you a champion. He didn't defend his shit once because he was taking coke. Stop giving him that status, right? Wilder and Joshua are the active guys putting in work. Stop giving him that. He ain't done shit, right? He ain't done shit. All right, and let me carry on again, right? You see all this undisputed lineal shit, right? You can't do that now. There's 4 sanctioning belts. So as much as you guys want to say undisputed means something, how much times do we see it? We don't really see it. Unless they start putting that tournament format in, you're not going to see that. Lineal champion, there's 4 different belts. Listen, Lineal worked in the old school because if there's one belt, you can directly see who's the last guy and you can just trace it through. Like when Rocky Marciano retired, right? You put Floyd Patterson up against Archie Moore. 1 and 2. It's simple. So, you know, they just carry on the lineal shit like that. But the way you're doing it now, it don't work. You think it doesn't work. You can't just attribute old school standards to the mess that's what's happened to boxing. You can't do it. It won't work.
Who is doing that?
Wait, hold on. Let me hold on. No. Let me get in. Let me get in here. Let me just say this, man. You know, the Peace point, excellent point, Peace. But I would say Joseph Parker also put in a little bit of work too. Let's not exclude him. But I will say this. Let me add my point on this. Lineal and somebody's got to mute. Who's in the background? All that noise. Is that you? Yeah, that's Diota. Okay. Let me just say this. Both Lineal and Undisputed is all important. I get that. But to Beats' point and to Rock and to Mr. Boxer today and to B Marsh's point, you have to make something of that championship, okay? You can't just pick up a Lineal belt and not fight the best while you're holding that title. You can't. It's like holding it hostage for a long time. Let's take Zoe Erdy, for example, as B Marsh brought him up. Light heavyweight champion Lineal after beating Julio Cesar Gonzalez. Nobody knew who the fuck he was because he refused to take on Pascal. He refused to take on guys like Chad Dawson, Thomas Adamek, Bernard Hawkins, many of those are very good light heavyweights. Nobody didn't know him because he didn't make nothing out of that Lineal title, okay? Now, opposed, kind of like Michael Spinks in the heavyweight division. When Tyson picked up the belts, when he became the undisputed champion, guess what? When you're the undisputed champion, you as a contender have nowhere else to go. You got to fight that man. Why? Because he has all the belts. He's also the Lineal champion as well. So you got to go and fight him. Okay, so with that said, you have to favor... I have to favor Undisputed because as a contender, you got nowhere else to go. You got to fight me because I got all the belts. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish, man. Let me finish. As a contender, you have no other options left. Your options has become thin now. You got to fight him because he has all the belts. Okay? He has all the trinkets that you want. Okay? Now, again, no. Hold up, man. As to Beats' point to my point earlier, man, you cannot use the old school rules of a Lineal championship and apply to today's standards. Those things has changed. The rules has changed, bro. You have to accept that now.
All right, let me ask you.
No. Let me finish, bro. Let me finish.
Come on, because I'm finna tell your ass.
No. You can't. Cause you get bashed, no, bro. Because you get bashed up all over the place.
No.
Bro. Let me. No. Hold on. Let me finish. No. Let me tell you.
Go ahead.
You do, bro. Every time you interject, man, the points get lost. You're trying to get people to get off their point. That's why you keep doing this shit. Let me just say this, okay? First of all, the old school rules doesn't apply anymore, okay? That is gone. Why? Because we have the section of bodies that has pretty much took over the sport in today's standards. We have to accept that. So with that said, like Mr. Boxer today's point is that it's frustrating to see so many champions because everybody wants to call themselves the champion. Everybody wants to call themselves as the man. Well, how do you resolve that? Get these champions to fight each other. Whoever emerges in the unification, they are the man because they have all the belts. They're doing the heavy lifting, bro.
Okay.
So with that said, let's say if Parker, let's say Parker, Wilder, or Joshua, one of those fighters is going to emerge as the undisputed champion. Okay.
Yeah, we get it.
Wait, hold up. Whoever's the undisputed champion, they will probably be more recognized than Tyson Fury because, as the Peace points, Tyson Fury did do the heavy lifting. Those guys did. Okay. So you cannot. No, I'm not done yet, bro. But with that said, as from a general perspective here, Tyson Fury won't be looked at as a lineal champion because he didn't do the heavy lifting. Those guys did. Okay, whoever becomes the undisputed champion.
And
So
I didn't say
again,
he was.
no, bro. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I said he
Well,
retired.
bruh,
He's not the
no,
lineal champion.
bro.
So who you preaching to?
No,
exactly?
I'm preaching to you because I'm trying to tell you.
You preaching to me a point. I just said Tyson Fury wasn't the lineal champion.
Right. No. First of all, you're trying to apply the old rules to your certain fighter that you admire so much because he has fought the man. No. Hold
Let
on.
me make you prove your rule. I'm gonna make you prove your rule.
Let me finish my point.
Let's go then. Let's go. Don't nobody jump in after him and let me go. Go ahead, Dan.
No. Let me finish my point. You're trying to attribute to the old rules because your fighter didn't fight the top 5, top 10 fighters for so long. Okay, if he did, so be it. He did do that, but they're not regarded as good light heavyweights. Okay, he didn't do the heavy lifting. It was Ward and Kovalev that did it. Okay. So first of all, with that said, those are the reasons why those guys were looked upon as the legit light heavyweight champions. Okay. So with that said, man, undisputed collecting all the belts seems more important than Lineal, and because when you do that, that shows that guy's doing more of the work. He's doing the more of the heavy lifting than the Lineal champion. Okay. So go ahead. I'm done.
Okay. All right. I want a simple answer, just quick. I don't need you to get long-winded. How many undisputed champions have you seen since the year 2000?
Since the year 2000?
How many have you seen?
We seen O'Neal Bell. We seen Roy Jones. We seen Costa Zoo. We seen Zab Judah, and we seen Jermaine Taylor, Bernard Hopkins. So that's about almost Corey Spinks,
Terrence Crawford.
Terrence Crawford. Yeah, so that's about over. Maybe that wasn't undisputed.
Usyk winner is going to be undisputed.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Dan. Now you're applying this standard on a relativity scale. You talking about percentages here. How many times this undisputed is done right? You act like this shit done right all the time as compared to Lineal. Now it goes back to my same fucking point. You talk so long that I kind of had a point I was going to kill you on, but you just kept repeating yourself. So I kind of forgot it. But hold on. I kind of forgot it. But let me tell you. But with Beterbiev, what you're saying is just like any other belt, just his lineage or whatever. You can't I wasn't talking to Donnie Stevenson, but since you brought him up, you can factually tell me that the WBC removed 3 top 5 mandatories. Okay. No. Don't. You interrupted.
I'm not interrupting, but go ahead. I'm laughing, but go ahead.
But Beterbiev, like I said, I guess his WBO belt mean nothing because his mandatory told him no thank you. It's simple as this. Men gonna fight the #1 men. They gonna seek and fight him. Other people, they find a way around it. If you find a way around it, whatever. Okay? If you still don't do it, bro, I gotta respect you. One man wouldn't beat the #1 man. Why can't you follow the lead? Because you ain't got what? You ain't man enough? That's all. If 4 belts come into place, Terrence Crawford was the man before he ever made undisputed. He won lineage with post-star. If Undago want to come try his shot and be a man and fight for lineage, you respect that. And you acting like a guy can't. This was my point. Triple G had 3 belts, right? I believe he had 3 belts. No, he had 2. Cotto was fighting around him. You acting like a guy can't have all 4 belts and people not fight around. You think Canelo went to 160 if he wanted to and fought whoever the fuck for money? Just because you got undisputed titles mean everybody got to fight you. You ain't making no money. Now you're saying on the note where you got these few people, they got it done right. Bro, what about the time when it ain't? Most of the time you ain't seeing people fight for 4 titles. It's for a reason. The stats don't even add up for you to talk like that, bro. Just to say undisputed is everything. Look, Terrence Crawford was everything when he won that lineal title. And Dongo was man enough to go do it. Donnie Stevenson was everything when he won that lineal title. Badu Jack was man enough to go get it. It's simple as that. Tyson Fury, you cannot relate to lineage with everybody else. Nobody else did what he done. So in order to shit on his, when you look at his lineage, I'm almost done. When you look at his lineage and you try to shit on every other lineage just because he's a dope head, then I'm gonna look at WBO champs and I'm gonna shit at every WBO champ because one man was a fuck up. And
all right, let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. Rock, you get in after I'm done. First things first, Terrence Crawford wanted to fight Julius Ndongo. Okay, he didn't have to take that fight. Why did he want to fight him? Because he knew that if he becomes undisputed champion, he would have done something that nobody's been able to do over a decade. Okay, so what does that tell you? Now hold up. Okay, first of all, you talk about Donna Stevenson, all these mandatories ducked him in this, that, and the third. As Beats had pointed out, you can't use that forever. You can only go so far with that, okay? If Adonis Stevenson wanted to make himself out to be a better champion than he is now,
move up in weight, right?
Wait, yeah, he should have went to cruiserweight. He should have went to fucking heavyweight, as you said yourself. No, hold up, as you said,
I didn't say that. I
yes,
never said
no,
that.
no, hold on, let me finish. You also said yourself that he could move up and beat Deontay Wilder.
I
So
think
why
he
did you
could
push for him to do
win.
it? No. Why did you push him Why did you push him to do that? Okay.
I didn't push him to do that. I thought he could hit him with something and fuck him up.
No, first of all, this is getting too tiresome, bro. The point is, the problem is you cannot use the old rules of lineage and apply to today's standards. Those rules can change. No.
This is why you can't take this guy seriously. That shit, Adonis Stevenson can knock out Deontay Wilder. Come on, fam.
Rock 89 mentioned Adonis Stevenson, not low place. I mentioned Turbiev.
All right, go ahead.
Play like that.
Okay, go ahead.
I thought he could catch him with something and knock him out. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Listen. Let me just throw something. See, when I debate boxing, right?
Yeah.
The prize fighter or the boxer has two options. You're gonna prize fight, or you're gonna be a great boxer. The reason I don't play around because you're lineal, you won the belt from this and you ain't did, because as a Charles, right? In about 3 different weight classes, let's say from middleweight, there wasn't no super middleweight, but let's say he fought 160, 168, all Hall of Famers. Ken Oberlin, early in his fight, in his career, and Drew, right? He beat Charlie Birdie twice, right? At 160, right? I'm on BoxRec right now, yeah? All right. He beat Joey Maxim, Hall of Famer twice, right? He fought Jimmy Bibbins, this at 165, the great Lloyd Marshall, or Black Murderers Row. He won probably 2 out of their 3 fight series. He beat Archie Moore about 5 times, right? And not one of them, Oakland Billy Smith, Elmer Ray, and he was 174 getting outweighed, even when he was a heavyweight, right? And not one of them was for a world title, bro. Not one of them. And his resume pisses all over Adonis Stevenson. So when you want to tell me you're putting Lineal, I don't give 2 damns about it. You don't mean nothing.
Okay, do you give a damn about an IBF or WBL, WBC? Do you give a damn about any of that? Yes or no?
It depends.
Okay. No. Hold on.
Let me finish.
You're putting
bro.
You don't have to be.
Let me finish.
Just make my.
No. Let me finish, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
In context, I respect it in context.
Okay, well, he's respecting it in context. Like I said, you can point WBC champions that's way better than this WBC champion. So therefore, the title he won means no, bro. He won what he won. Take it away from him. You don't have to do people jobs with our mouth in boxing. If they man enough, they'll go put their fucking hands on somebody. Simple as that. If the lineal champion do it and he don't go snort coke and fuck up his lineage, you got a job. Put your hands on him. If you fighting around it, then it is what it is. That's just my opinion on that. I can't help that Jersey Joe Walcott got done wrong. People get done wrong today, but they still look. Racial issues exist today, but you still crown people WBC, WBA.
No, it's not racial.
Whatever issues, whatever the same issue.
What you're saying is inaccurate. Yeah, it wasn't a racial issue, right? It wasn't a racial issue.
Go ahead. Well, what's your issue with Ezra Charles not getting his title? I know this one. You just mentioned Ezra Charles.
I'm just saying he's beating guys like Bob Slatterfield, one of the hardest.
Why wasn't he getting titles, Beats? Why wasn't he getting titles? Why wasn't he getting titles?
Dude, all right, go ahead, Beats. You want to respond to that?
It was mob influence. There was racial dynamics.
There you go. Exactly.
Hall of Famers over and over again, right? So when people are telling me that Adonis got this thing and he ain't getting this and he's getting shot, he can listen. Moving up for Ezra Charles, moving up for Lloyd Marshall, moving up for was like drinking water, bro. They just done it every fight. Move up, down, middleweight, light heavyweight. Anywhere where the payday was, they was there. Anywhere they could get in the card, they was there. So when I hear these little diva, the WBC and Jose Sullivan said this, right? Look, if you're fighting for money, I don't say nothing about it. I've got no critiques. Do your thing. But when you're trying to elevate these guys as great fighters and you can't move up to cruiserweight, You can't move up to cruiserweight, right? And you're saying you're great. I'm not feeling it, bro. Not feeling it. Not feeling it. Right? Sugar Ray.
There were guys back then that were holding fucking belts in 3 different weight classes at the same time, man. Don't even try that.
Yeah, nobody did. Nobody did. He's making a moot point because nobody said he was better than none of these guys. He's just getting historical because he wants to. Nobody ever compared this guy's lineage to the next. That's why I was butting in the art. You making an argument nobody's making. We're in today's if you say in today's time, if we can't use today's terminology for back then you can't use that. Look, them dudes didn't face rehydration. They didn't so that what they doing don't even compare today. Adonis moving up to cruiserweight is fighting fucking mid-size heavyweights. If you feel
wait, let's get this just get 24 hours to rehydrate, bro. 24 hours to rehydrate.
Well, let me out. Hold up.
Man, Ezra Charles never faced nobody.
Let me stop jumping, bro, because he just came on.
Hold up. I jump on and I hear, these dudes in the past didn't face rehydration. Are you kidding? Are you shitting me?
Name the highest weight to Ezra Charles.
Are you shitting me? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Low place. Sugar Ray Robinson, right? Fought for the light heavyweight title against Joey Maxson. And you know something? Sugar Ray Robinson couldn't make middleweight. He weighed in at 157 and had a 16 to 17 pound weight disadvantage. Yeah?
Yeah. Imagine what he would have done with a 24-hour weigh-in where he could drink Gatorade and water and all this, H2O. Imagine that. He would have easily made that weight.
Now I gotta imagine, right? Okay, fine. I gotta imagine, right? No, dog. Nobody ever even mentioned these guys being nothing. Y'all sitting there fighting like I said.
Well, what's wrong with the word imagine?
Yeah, no. You acting like I said these guys drank.
Well, were you saying imagine so you could think of what to say?
I never made an argument against them. I said a man won his lineal title, and because you like history, it's just like this.
Yeah, he should do nothing.
Hold on.
Every time Low Place makes an argument, he does it for Adonis. That's what it is. Okay, go ahead.
I never mentioned Adonis. Your ass wasn't even on here. 1 second.
Why? Yeah, you stop being disrespectful, bro.
Rock 89. I'm gonna say something right here. The same way you think, Low Place says Adonis.
He does it for Adonis, guys.
Nah, see, this dude disrespecting.
All roads.
You mute me when I talk.
Okay. Hold on. No, D-style.
Yeah, that's some bullshit right there.
Hey, go ahead, respond. Now, Jesus Christ.
Now the same way clowns on here right now like to say, every time you mention history.
Who you calling a clown? Bro?
3 fucking seconds. You mention history every 3 fucking seconds.
But you gonna have to understand the history, bro, because you haven't.
Well, understand. I didn't mention Adonis, and you're lying on me because you like.
We ain't lying on you, bro, because you lying about the lineage.
Rock 89. You hear Rock 89? One question for Rock 89. All right. One question. All right, Rock 89. When you said Adonis Stevenson, did I not say something about Beterbiev and you said then Adonis Stevenson? Yes or no? Yes or no?
I don't remember, but I guess I did. Right, but when I said Adonis Stevenson, did you stop?
All I can do is understand you coming here with a grudge, not him, but whoever coming here with an Adonis grudge on their shoulder, see me one-on-one. Don't come and hang out. Tell it.
You want to get him mad? Just bring up Adonis Stevenson.
I'm just saying, don't come in here mention Adonis when I ain't, and then say, look at Low Place doing Adonis. Nigga, that's you.
I'm a grown ass man. I could bring up whatever I want. Go ahead.
All right, well, direct it where you want to direct it. If you're a grown ass man, see me on a hangout by yourself, like you refuse to do something. You refuse to do it. You refuse to do it.
Okay, everybody be quiet.
You refuse to do it.
Okay, go ahead. On the beats.
Bro, I'm so scared, bro.
No, go ahead, beats.
You said you didn't say nothing about Adonis, but you was kind of elevating his lineal status, That was putting it in perspective.
So you was mad that he won lineal. You wanted to point to him because you can point to one lineal titleist.
Yo, really quick, in all seriousness, everybody in the chat, say it all at once. He does it for Adonis. Thank you. Go ahead.
That's good for you. See me personally. You won't, Eric. All right, Eric, you won't do that. You have refused to do that.
It's D-style boxing for you. Go ahead.
You have refused to do that, Eric. Ain't my fault. I'm not going to respect you till you do that. You come in here trolling, but you won't see me. You won't do it.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Rock.
You don't have to talk that.
Go ahead, Rock.
I already destroyed him in 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Rock. Go ahead, Rock. Go ahead, man.
At the end of the I agree with Beats 100%. There are certain standards you can't use today because you got a lot of people fighting around people and don't, just not going after number one all the time. However, when you got a dude who's so-called number one and he not fighting number two or number three or number four, what is number 2, 3, and 4 supposed to do?
And who is this dude, Rob? Who is this dude that's doing that? Can you tell me who this dude is?
There's plenty of people that's doing it. It's boxing.
I'll just make sure.
Do you want me to say Adonis Stevenson?
I'm just asking who these dudes. I don't want to incite you in any way. I just asked you a question. See, you shouldn't take it so personally. I just asked you a question. Who's the dude that's doing it? Because you said people are doing it, so I'm asking who's the people that's fighting around number one? Who's it? Who's the number one guy fighting around people? Who is it?
There's multiple fighters that do it.
Okay, that's fine.
You got Keith Thurman not fighting Errol Spence right now. Ain't talking about
Errol Spence can go do though. Errol Spence, just like I told Deontay Wilder, what he can go do, he can go request getting in that sanctioning body and make Keith Thurman drop a belt and look like a pure
So then,
bitch.
why didn't you request that Adonis Stevenson do it to Sergey Kovalev?
Sergey Kovalev already, dude. Sorry. Do I have to go here? I gotta go here because I don't.
Yeah, thank you. Answer the question, bro. Why can Adonis Stevenson do that?
Hold on. First and foremost, Sergey Kovalev was already there to get the shot. When he refused to take the shot, you don't have to chase nobody.
You're not answering the question. You're not answering the question, bro.
Getting all heated, guys. Getting all heated.
Whoa. I get muted when I talk over people. See, that's that bullshit. But all right,
it's not bullshit. Just answer the question.
Well, hold on, Rock. Let him finish. Let him finish.
If a person is running from me, he already 2 purse bids. You had your chance to make me drop a title, look like a bitch, or whoop my ass. If you run from me, I'm not turning around and chase you. I do what I want. I'm sitting on the hill, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
If Adonis wanted to go do that, that's all on him. But when I don't respect Sergey Kovalev, so I don't need you to fight him. The nigga ran. If Keith Thurman and Errol Spence run from one another, then I ain't gotta see it. I know who's the pussy already. You go outside.
But you respect Adonis Stevenson and he
you go outside and you step on the block and you take your shirt off and tell them niggas to muscle up. Run off. You the king of the block, bro. I ain't got. I'm sorry, as boxing, I want to see fights, but I can't make these pussies fight. I can only call them pussies, bro. Don't put it on me.
So why don't you call Adonis Stevenson the pussy?
Because he had 3 mandatories that refused to fight him. I don't know.
What Bertavia called it. Bertavia called it.
Hold on, though. He ran from a unification fight with somebody's grandfather.
Okay, well, hey, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. We both have opinions. We both have opinions on that.
That's a fact.
We both have no. Well, fact is, he offered him more money than Kovalev. But we don't have to go down this road.
He ran from old
we
man
don't have
Hopkins.
to go down this road. All you can do is make the offer. If they don't want to fight you, they don't want to fight you.
Okay, Hopkins made the offer. He didn't want to fight.
He changed. He left this fucking. He left HBO to avoid fight Hopkins.
To fight Hopkins. He left HBO to go offer Hopkins, and Hopkins went back across the street.
No.
See what you're doing there, though. Right? You just make, it's just conjecture. Look, any fighter at world level could be great. Any, right? All you gotta do, like, if you take on the winner of Gassiev and Usyk, whether you're Kovalev or thing, you just make up mad ground in your attempt to be great. Right? If Errol Spence knocks out Charlo, he doesn't have to worry about no Keith Thurman. Right? Any fighter, see, that's the thing. None of them, people use words like throwback today. They use Lineal. Well, throwback would have moved up and done that. That's what they do. Listen, when Roy Jones lost his unbeaten record to Griffiths, he realized he couldn't do it. He said it in his own words, I couldn't do the Floyd thing and be unbeaten. That's why he went to fight John Ruiz. So he could catch up, because he couldn't do the unbeaten thing. So by beating the heavyweight champion, that's the first time someone would have done it since Bob Fitzsimmons. Anyone can be great. Anyone can be great. Because let me tell you this, right? Let's say Adonis is really feared at 175. He won't be feared when he goes up to 200. They'll be lining up. He'll get fights all day, All he has to do.
But Beats, can I make a point? To the point you mentioned Roy, who could give fights. Other guys you said wouldn't give fights. They was fighting probably broke. Today's a different time. He getting paid from Al Heyman if they duck or if they don't. But all I got to say, bro, I'm fine with somebody reigning. I'm fine with them moving up. And it just is what it is. If you want the move up system, that's what you want. Personally, I don't want nobody leaving that deep ass division of 175. If all I can point to is says you officially ducked him and I think you more pussy than him, then that's fine in my heart. I'm not trying to get none of y'all to agree with that. But if a man run from me, you ain't got to worry about me running and chasing his ass down unless I'm about to beat my money out of him. He's already getting paid. He don't have to beat money out of him. See?
All right. Bro, you got different standards for Adonis Stevenson than you do everybody else, bro. That's just plain to see.
Okay, what's the standard? Hold on. Ask him, what's that different standard, Ben, please? What's the different standard?
Well, you say a duck is not a duck. No, I'm asking you. No, you asked the question. I'm telling you. When one fighter does no.
Ben said I have one. No, please, don't fight that.
No,
please, bro.
Please let Ben step up and answer his own question.
Yeah.
Please let Ben.
Oh, so you don't want me to answer it? Okay.
No, you can ask. You can. No, he said it. He said it. It's only fair that he's here. He's a grown man.
All right, fine. Ben, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I can answer it.
Okay, go ahead, man.
But whenever you talk about Adonis Stevenson, you don't hold him to the same standards as you do other fighters. It's very plain to see, bro. This happens constantly. Everybody can see it.
What fighter?
You act like I'm just saying something that's just off the fucking wall.
What proof? Which fighter am I holding to the different standard? Please tell me.
But you criticize. You know what, man? Let this guy go.
Okay. All right. I asked you a plain question, bro. You couldn't tell me the fighter. All I know is Adonis Stevenson moved up, fought the #1 man, and had 3 men. Look, hold on, please. All I know, and anybody who does this, anybody that no, I'm not here supporting. I'm here supporting the Artur Beterbiev, who just got ducked by his mandatory. Nobody talked about it but me on Twitter.
Yeah,
so you support Artur Beterbiev, right? You support Artur Beterbiev, but when Deontay Wilder has a case to say he's been ducked, you shit all over him, and the only thing you can talk about is, oh, that nigga need to stop rhyming. He's a clone. He's this, that thing. Slap yourself, man.
His mandatory. Hold on. His mandatory. You going in a different situation. This man is sitting out here trying to get the fight. He's been told.
So Deontay.
He's been Whoa. He's been told he can get 10 times his purse if he go in there and negotiate like a man. I'm waiting to see what happens like a man. I've told, and if Joshua falls short on that, then all Deontay Wilder has to do to me is jump into one of them sanctioned bodies and make a request. If they accept or deny him,
hold on. Who the fuck is the lone wolf, man? Hold on, T. Who the fuck is the lone wolf?
Who knows?
Well, let me.
All I know.
Dan, there's some random nigga named the lone wolf, man. Who the fuck is that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, who's in there?
One quick statement. Anybody that gets.
Hold on, T. Hold on. No, lone wolf. Who are you, man? Can you unmute yourself? Who are you? Unmute yourself. All right. I don't know who you are. So
reveal yourself.
Yeah. Well,
nah, hit him with that boot. Hit him with that fucking Bradshaw boot from the APA. Get him up out of here.
One quick closing statement. Anybody that can get a sanctioning body, not them personally, but the sanctioning body, pick your name up and erase you or move you from mandatory. Anybody to get 3 guys that does that, or even 1 guy, I'm going to look and I'm going to support that guy and say, yo, he's feared, he's ducked.
You know what? Let me just say this. I'm going to move off this because I'm going to have my subject. No, I'm going to move off that. I'm going to get off. But first things first, you said that a champion should go to the other sanctioned bodies to make that fight. Well, you should have said that to Stevenson when Andre Ward was a champion, #1. He didn't do that. No, let me finish. Let me finish. But you did criticize him for that. But anyways, like you said, when Ward ran away from the fight, on Donna Stevenson, there was no contract, there was no negotiations that was taking place. But yet you said Ward was ducking. But when Stevenson, when Stevenson got called out by Beterbiev, he didn't respond to Beterbiev. You didn't call that ducking, so that's a double standard right there on your part. So I didn't know. Whoa. When did I ever say doing one interview and saying 3 different names to get you a fight? Hold on.
You know what, Dan? I got it. I finally figured it out.
Andre Ward, a retired fight. Hold on, Dan, please. You just use Andre Ward, a retired fighter, saying go to the sanctioning body and get you a fight. Bad example, bro.
It's not a bad example. Ward was
I figured it out, Dan.
Go ahead, Rock. What's up?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Low place is Skip Bayless. He say this bullshit with the straightest face possible, and you can't believe that he
They
actually
consistent in
believes it.
telling
But
fighters
if you look
sanctioning
at him,
bodies
he
is
might
bullshit.
actually believe it.
So petition the sanctioning body to get you a fight is bullshit,
He
right?
probably think Tim Tebow's the greatest quarterback of all time.
No, Rock. No, not your joke, not your joke. Let's see if you really believe what you just said. Not your joke. Anybody can be funny. I could be real funny right now if you want me to. But at the end of the day, I want to ask you: is
No, buddy, you
petitioning?
think Tim Tebow's gonna play Major League Baseball?
All right, good. All right, Rock. Petitioning a sanctioning body is a bad idea. Yes or no? Trying to ask a sanctioning body for some help is a bad idea. Skip Bayless would
Lone
do
Wolf's
that.
back.
Yeah, that's one to talk about the damn fight. I'm sorry for going in.
Yeah, who's this? Lone Wolf for you, man?
Sound like PNC.
That's
Is
right.
it PNC? Who are you, bro?
Who? Nah, I'm the Lone Wolf, bro.
Wait, who are you, man? Who are you?
The Lone Wolf.
I just told you I'm the Lone fucking Wolf.
The Lone Wolf.
He did just say he's the lone fucking wolf. I agree.
I'm D style. All right.
I'm this style. Okay. I never heard of you, man. I'm just being real.
What you supposed to tell you? Shoe size? That's who he is.
What's up?
What he supposed to tell you? Shoe size? He's the lone wolf. Like, ask him. What's his opinion?
All right, what's your opinion, man, on this, man? But I'm about to get out of here because it's been too long because I got to get to somewhere. But what's your opinion? What's more important, undisputed or lineal championship?
I'm saying undisputed because there's like way too many damn divisions on there for one.
Yeah. So you're saying that lineal's more important, or is it more important to gather all the belts to become the champion, so that way no other contender could go anywhere else to make a fight?
I think I just made it self-explanatory. I think I believe in getting all the belts.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Kind of have no choice in the case, since it's like a WBA and IBF and the IBO and like a WBA.
Right.
It's probably like an organization I'm forgetting about.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So
I don't even understand how all those fucking divisions are like fucking separate. They have their own championship.
You know what really needs to happen in boxing right now? Right? There needs to be two divisions of like not sanctioning bodies, but prize fighting and boxing.
Yeah.
That's what it needs to be. Prize fighting and boxing. Boxing means you adhere to the Ezra Charles standard or whatever. If you do what you got, like everything you do has to be a step to be great. Prize fighting, yeah, you can do it. You can still have great fights, but you can make attractive matchups. But you know what you're doing. That's what they need to do, man. That's what they need to do.
They have done that. I think all of it's prize fighting. Like every part of it is prize fighting today. So they have done that. Everybody made their mind. They want to be a prize fighter and not live in the 19 whatevers. And I agree. You should get your money, and you can further greatness alone. Nobody just has to say you as a Charles level or you run your time. He run his time. That's all they gotta be.
Yeah.
You see, I've been consistent. I'm like you see, if I see a fighter is fighting for money, I won't say nothing. You know when he starts saying, yeah, well, I could whoop this dude, then I'm gonna pull you to task when you haven't been doing it. But if you're just getting your money and you're not shouting, okay, I can see the plan there. But the moment you start saying it's talking like a badass, then I'm putting it apart. You know, because that's what it's all about. You fight for money or you fight for legacy or whatnot. You have an option. You have an option. You know.
Go back to it. Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe. Drop the belt. You a pussy. I ain't got to see you fight. Like, do it Lennox Lewis way. If you want somebody that bad, be it's mandatory. If you get in position, run through that. Do it the Kovalev way. Go be the mandatory. Follow through. If you run off, I don't never had to see you fight. Your mind already told me who won the fight. Basically, like that's just what it is. You get the most when you getting the most money. You getting the most prize you can get, and you still running. Your mind already told me who won the fight.
Who's this now? Who's this now? Nick? You know this guy?
Nick man. It's Nick Man in this piece. That's who I am. I come in peace, bro.
That sound like the lone wolf clan.
What the fuck?
Wait, where you put this link, man?
I don't know. How did the link work? I put so I don't know what he's gonna say.
You gotta send them links privately. Is what you gotta do.
Yeah, I gotta do that. Yeah, I did it in the chat. That was it. I didn't put it in the hangout. So
Hey, you could go to your hangout now and turn off.
God!
Everybody in here, is invited, so you can go to your hangout and turn off join by link, and that shit won't
This is
happen.
Nick Mad, man. I come in peace, bro.
Yeah, that was Lone Wolf, bro. I could tell his voice. He
Who's
changed
a
his
lone
shit.
wolf anyway?
yeah, I never heard of him.
You hear the shit he said when he came in? He didn't know very much. He was talking about undisputed with the IBO. He said the only reason to be undisputed because they got a lot of divisions. Like
Yeah,
that shit had a lot of gaps. So
yeah,
yeah, that's what you playing on your shit. Just go to
yeah,
your hangout and turn off join by link. Turn it
yeah.
off. Then you be alright.
All right, I'll do that. But anyways, I got to wrap this up anyway because I got to get going. But anyways, y'all. Yeah, it's a great discussion, y'all. Low, I have to say, man, you're wrong on this one. That's all I gotta say. But
But you think that on everything. You think that
yeah,
on everything.
no
But like I said,
Yeah.
men gonna fight men. Men gonna be men. I'm not gonna
yeah,
worry about the
I
vagina.
saw. I
yeah.
came. I conquered. I'm out of here. Peace.
All right, thank you, stop. Thank you, brother. Yeah,
Easy work. That was too easy. Later.
later, brother.
Hey,
Hey,
real quick, Dan, I just want to say from one married man to another, congratulations.
thank you, brother.
Everything go well for you, man. Have a blessed, wonderful day and a
Uh,
blessed, wonderful lifetime.
thanks, man. I really appreciate it, man. Got a couple more days, so I'll probably be out.
Yeah, congratulations, man. Congratulations.
I hope it all goes well, damn man. I really do.
Yeah, man.
You're stuck in hell just like I am. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, it's been hectic, man, getting all this together, man. Real talk. Trust me. This is I just wait. I'm just how happy this will be over Saturday. So shoot. you know. But hey, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you brothers for coming on, man, making this a delightful, spirited but respectful conversation. So
That was a great hangout, man. I enjoyed it.
oh yeah, man. Beats, man. I know. It's in your high spirits again, man. That's what I like to see, man. You're in good spirits. You're having a good dialogue, man. I'm happy to have you on, man.
Can I say one thing before we go? Eric, or whatever you want, Eric style, whatever. Bruh, tell me what it is you want to debate with me instead of just jumping on having a problem with me. Because I don't know what
to
it
end
is.
on a high note, man. Let's just congratulate
No,
Dan and let him go.
I'm not doing this in a disrespectful.
Let's just congratulate
It's just
Dan.
gonna be another good spirited boxing talk if he would like to do that.
Once
But
again,
I
congratulations.
guess you're right.
Dan.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Talking to somebody who trolled me ain't ending on a high note. You right. I'm trying to troll. You right.
Man, no place, man. It's so good, man.
Yeah.
It's all word. It's all good. But hey, Lo, if you want to challenge D style, just do a video response. That's all you got to do.
Just be our response, man.
Yeah.
All I can say is, what is your point? That's all. I don't know his point.
But just pick a debate topic. Pick a debate topic with your video response. That's all you have to do, man. All right. Yeah, but anyways, y'all, I really, really enjoyed this conversation. This has been very good, very healthy, spirited at times, as always. You know, the point of these whole hangouts, man, is to always is to pick and choose, pick off each other's knowledge and brains. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes we all can't be right about everything, but it's always about spirit. It's all about being respectful. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I enjoyed it.
yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, as always, man. But anyways, y'all, shout out to the comment section. I got Ayo Buzuzi. Can't pronounce it. Sorry, man, if I'm butchering your name. Black Latin Seas, as always. Intellect 123. Oh yeah, we went at him last time. But what's up, man? Bakari King. What's he? Xavier Miranda. D Style. He was in here. Busy Boxing today. Kiwi Box, as always, a pleasure, man. 1224529. Who else we got? Fat Apples. Then we got Joe Host, who was in here for a moment. Yeah, so that's about it. Oh, Chris Caban, you just too late, bro. I'm about to close up shop. But anyways, shout out to the panel. T, Rock 89, Chris Coban. I have to say, you big boxer beats and runs. B Marsh, Ben Umar. And yes, man, we are out. Peace.